thunderous round of applause. Our chief guest is Shri G. Kamala Vardhan Rao, IAS Secretary to Government of India and Chief Executive Officer, Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Kindly keep the applause going as we welcome our guest of honor, Dr. Manoj Nesari, Advisor, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India. Once again, a thunderous round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. We thank our guest of honor and chief guest for gracing this event with their benign presence. You may all please be seated now. I request the dignitaries present here to kindly light the ceremonial lamp. Our chief guest, Shri G. Kamala Vardhan Rao, guest of honor, Dr. Manoj Nesari, Mr. Elvin Samuel, Dr. Lal Hingorani, Mr. Suresh Garg, Mr. Amit Srivastav to please join for the lamp lighting ceremony. With the lighting of the lamp, we invoke the blessings of the Almighty to bless this summit with the light of knowledge, wisdom, and truth. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. We pray for its success and wish all our participants a fruitful and enlightening experience. Thank you very much. I request the following dignitaries to please be seated on the stage. Our chief guest, guest of honor, Mr. Elvin Samuel, Vice President, Tech Sci Research. Dr. Lal Hingorani, Chairman, Chef Excel. And as they join our chief guest and guest of honor on stage, let's welcome them with a round of applause. Mr. Suresh Garg, CMD, Zion Life Sciences Limited. Mr. Amit Srivastav, Co-Chair, ASSOCHAM Wellness Council, Chief Catalyst, Nutrify Today. Once again, a very hearty welcome to the distinguished dignitaries. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, esteemed participants, on behalf of ASSOCHAM, I extend a very warm and hearty welcome to all present here at the 9th Nutraceutical Summit and Awards, Roadmap to Compliances, Certifications and Regulations. Can we start with a round of applause? I'm your host, Prerna, and I'm delighted and privileged to play host to such an accomplished audience. Ladies and gentlemen, today's event aimed to address challenges related to compliances, standardization, certification, and regularization in the nutraceutical industry, as well as honoring industry leaders who've achieved excellence and milestones in the field. We also welcome Dr. Blossom Kocher, Co-Chairperson, ASSOCHAM National Wellness Council and Chairperson, Aroma Magic Private Limited. Ma'am, to please join us on stage. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Dr. Blossom Kocher. Thank you, ma'am, for your benign presence. Please be seated. And before we dive into the program, we also express our heartfelt gratitude to our partners for their wholehearted support. So without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let the 9th Nutraceutical Summit and Awards begin. We'll now take this opportunity to officially welcome our distinguished dignitaries present on stage. I request Dr. Blossom Kocher to welcome our chief guest, Shri G. Kamala Vardhan Rao, with a bouquet. Requesting Dr. Kocher to please do the honors and welcome our chief guest, Shri G. Kamala Vardhan Rao, IAS Secretary to Government of India and Chief Executive Officer, Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Once again, a very warm welcome to you, sir. I now request Dr. Lal Hingorani, Chairman, Chef Excel, the designated EPC for Nutraceuticals, to felicitate our chief guest with a shawl. Kindly keep the applause going, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, sir. I now request Mr. Amit Srivastav to please welcome our guest of honor, Dr. Manoj Nesari, Advisor, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India, with a bouquet. Kindly keep the applause going. Thank you, sir, for sparing your valuable time for us, for your gracious presence. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Mr. Srivastava, for doing the honors. Ladies and gentlemen, to kick off our proceedings, I'd like to invite a trailblazer in the wellness industry. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Blossom Kocher for the welcome address. Can we all please welcome her on the dais, ma'am?
So, good morning. I would really like to welcome Sri G. Kamala Vardha Rao for he is the first IAS Secretary of Government of India and Chief Executive Officer, Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Dr. Manoj Nasari, Advisor, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India, and Mr. Suresh Garg, CMD Xeon Life Science Limited, Mr. Lal Hangurani, Chairman Syphilix, Mr. Alvin Samuel, Vice President Tech SCI Research, and of course Mr. Amit Srivastava, Co-Chair ASSOCHAM National Wellness Council and Chief Catalyst Nutrify Today. And I would like to welcome all of you to this wonderful summit, the 9th Nutraceuticals Summit and Awards, which, is something, it's actually a roadmap, for going forward. And as we all know, global healthcare, the landscape is undergoing a shift, a real big shift, focusing more on preventative measures rather than reactive treatments, as we all know about that. Nutraceuticals, with their inherent health promoting properties, fit perfectly into this preventive healthcare model. And I know one thing for sure. I mean, and it was there before. But what happened is after COVID, we are all, going back to that. And I know during COVID and that, I had started these nutraceuticals, and I must tell you, it was wonderful because I, touch wood, and thank God, I must say, I never got COVID, and neither did my family or those around us who use these nutraceuticals. So, which is really, I discovered that at that time that it was really a preventative form of medicine, and nutraceuticals, they are beneficial for a number of reasons. And of course, me being in the beauty and wellness industry, I must say, nutraceuticals come with a promise of glowing skin, improved digestion and metabolism, and it's improving general wellness. They have been proven to have fewer side effects than over-the-counter medications and some prescription drugs, which means you can get health benefits without the risk of severe reactions, which is definitely there. Like when I do, I must say, skin, I advise for skin and for other things. What is really something that works is I have discovered it's not just the things that you put on your skin that is going to give the glow, that is going to take away the acne, that is going to help the hair fall. It all has to come from internal. And so for that, what is really working is the nutraceuticals that's working. Consumers seem to be gravitating from the center to be either a passionate, die-hard health food supplement shopper, or those more skeptical but increasingly see the benefits of supplementation as part of a healthy lifestyle, which is important nowadays, as we all know. Our food, whatever it is, with all the things that is going around, the chemicals and the oxidants, all the things that are there, we have discovered that we have to take supplements, to supplement the thing, which is important. There are a lot of herbs that are rich in antioxidants and have been used in flavoring and aroma. For example, garlic extracts, ginger root, aloe vera gels, and herbs that have health benefits such as reducing cholesterol, wound healing, anti-ulcer, and above all, antioxidant activities. To conclude, natural products have been known for their therapeutic values for centuries. In the modern era, these substances have been used as an immunity booster, anti-diabetic, anti-cancer, antimicrobial, and gastroprotective. It definitely protects the gut, which is important. And so on. Therefore, these herbs could be better options to be formulated as nutraceuticals. And now we've got this wonderful panel sitting here who are definitely going to enlighten us on a lot of things on what it's supposed to be. And I am definitely an eager listener for that, and I'm looking forward to that. Thank you all so much, and let's welcome all of you. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kocher, for setting the context for our discussions today. And now let's hear from our knowledge partner. Please welcome on the dais Mr. Elvin Samuel, Vice President, TechSci Research. Sir, can we all please welcome him on the dais?
Ladies and gentlemen, very good morning to all of you. Today's gathering, where we come together for the 9th Nutraceutical Summit and Awards. Aligning with this topic, I'm here to provide you a small gist of the paper that will be unveiling, that will be unlocking the potential of nutraceuticals. India stands out at a unique crossroads with the potential to emerge as a prominent player in the global exports and manufacturing landscape. This potential hinges on several key factors, particularly in the promising field of nutraceuticals. Unlike China's main focus on mass markets, India can carve its niche in specialized nutraceutical markets. Our rich heritage in Ayurveda, herbal medicines, and other traditional medical systems positions us uniquely. Recognizing this legacy emphasizes a holistic approach to health where food is viewed as both nourishment and medicine. To truly thrive, robust investments in infrastructure are crucial. Efficient goods movement necessitates a strong network of transportation, logistics, and digital systems. Additionally, precision-oriented manufacturing facilities and high-quality farms are essential for producing competitive products. Prioritizing innovations across sectors with a focus on sustainability will yield high value, globally competitive goods. This can evolve integrating traditional wisdom with modern science to create solutions that are not only effective but also environmentally responsible. The promise of nutraceuticals in India lies in a multidimensional approach. By fostering collaboration between traditional knowledge, scientific innovation, and technological advancements, we can unlock the full potential of this sector, ultimately promoting health and enhancing quality of life. Building a strong nutraceutical sector requires additional incentives and promotional efforts. By harnessing our rich heritage, investing in infrastructure, attracting investments, and fostering innovation, India can become a leading exporter and manufacturer of high value personalized healthcare solutions, ensuring the benefits are can be shared by all. So hoping to have a very robust session today. Thank you all so much.
Thank you very much, sir. Moving ahead, we'll now unveil and celebrate the release of the knowledge report. I request our chief guest, our guest of honor, along with other esteemed dignitaries, to kindly release the knowledge report. Requesting our chief guest, sir, to please release the report. And with this, ladies and gentlemen, we release. Many congratulations on the unveiling and release of the knowledge report. Thank you so much for doing the honors. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our event, as we all know, is graced by our distinguished personality. Please join me in welcoming our chief guest, Shri G. Kamlavardhan Rao ji, to address the august gathering. Can we all please welcome him with a thunderous round of applause?
Namaskar. Good morning, everybody. I'm very happy to be here today, the 9th award ceremony on the Nutraceuticals. Distinguished guests on the dais and ladies and gentlemen. When we talk about nutraceutical sector in general and nutraceutical sector in our country in particular, we'll have to really talk about why it is growing in a big way in this country when the global market is $150 billion now, and it is likely to be $220 billion by 2028 as per the estimates, and our contribution here is around $4 billion right now, right, our nutraceutical industry. But I'm happy that it is growing at the rate of 14.2 CAGR, right. The number of licenses that we are giving across the country on nutraceutical industry is also growing. Himachal Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Hyderabad. When we calculate, so I'm just going through the statistics, how it is increasing. The demand is increasing and also the supply is also increasing. I'm very happy to see that the growth of nutraceutical industry growing at a rapid rate, more than the expected rate, right? 10, 15 years back, 20 years back, when we were district collectors and all, we never knew about nutraceutical, right? 2 months back, or maybe 1.5 months back, in Europe, in the beautiful Louvre Museum in Rome, there is one association, NGO. They have thrown pumpkin soup on the Mona Lisa painting. I'm sure you have read this in the newspapers. Mona Lisa painting, that glass was there, of course, the painting was protected, but these people went there and so close to Mona Lisa painting, have thrown the pumpkin soup on this. Thrown by an NGO. The name of the NGO is NGO Organization for Food and Sustainable Agriculture. They said agriculture in Europe is sickening. This is the slogan that they have given. Point is that, of course, the rivers in Europe are getting drained up, and the agricultural practices in Europe are under modernization, are not able to cater to the needs of the European population there. So they wanted to have something new, something extra, something additional in the agricultural practices. For what? You have seen, many of you must have gone to the Gulf Food Conference in Dubai. I participated for the initial 2 days. It's a massive conference. Netherlands, one big stall. UK, one big stall. Australia, big stall. It is huge. In my 33 years of IAS, I visited many international conferences, but this is the largest congregation of one particular industry, that is food sector, food industry. There, new experiments are being showcased. New food items are being showcased, right? So why this European, this NGO, the particular NGO which has thrown pumpkin soup on Mona Lisa painting, what is this anguish? What is the complaint? The complaint is, whatever food that you're eating now, either, as madam has mentioned about the pesticides, the fertilizers, it is undergoing rapid change. The agriculture practices is undergoing rapid change. I would like to quote one report from ICAR, Indian Council for Agricultural Research. I'm sure many of you must have laid your hands on that. It says that before 1969, before the introduction of high-yielding varieties, the Norman Borlaug and Dr. Swaminathan, the wheat and the rice which was available in this country was, the nutritious value of which is there, inherently which is there in the DNA of rice and wheat, the calcium, the iron, the zinc, the riboflavin, all these things are 30 to 42% higher. So have you compromised nutritional security to the food security. That was the sum and substance of that entire research report. It is a research report. You must read that if you have not read it. So, because we have tinkered with the genetic aspect of the rice and the wheat, and of course, but we wanted food. Population is increasing, right? During independence, our population was 37 crores. Now it's 140 crores. So you need food, right? So high yielding varieties is very, very important, essential. Then we started having our additional nutritions coming from egg, doodh. 222 million tons is the milk production in this country. Our rice production is 130 million tons. Wheat ranges from 107 to 108 million tons. We have oil seeds, 36.5 million tons. Last year, I'm quoting last year's thing. Pulses is 27.5 million tons. India is Kamadhenu and Kalpavriksha in the world. When you go to different countries, Germany, German ambassadors, all the ambassadors come and meet me in FSSAI. They say that, Mr. Roy, you're living in such a beautiful country where you have fresh vegetables, fresh fruits. Everything is fresh. In European countries, everything is frozen. We are not realizing how fortunate we are that we are born in such a beautiful country. But when the food is coming onto our table, when the fruits are coming onto our table, when the vegetables are coming onto your table, how many pesticides, how safe it is? Number one. Most important aspect is how nutritious it is. So, Government of India, to help the poorer section and the marginalized sections in this country, in 2017, Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji announced that we should fortify the rice. Now, FSSAI has come out with fortification of wheat is permitted, oil is permitted, milk is permitted. It is voluntary, right? But for rice, for the midday meal scheme, we made it mandatory, and under midday meal scheme, iron, folic acid, and B12 is being given. FSSAI has been given the charge for responsibility for propagation, generating awareness among public about the importance of fortification, because people get scared when they see the red color thing. Then I started having discussion with the premix people, started having discussion with the FRK, fortified rice kernel manufacturers, rice millers across the country, and try to tell them that how to be more effective about this. So this is about the fortification thing. So when we are adding different nutritious value to the existing food, we are also trying to take up, I'm talking about the national level picture, I'm giving a national level picture of what are the efforts of the government in trying to reduce the dependence on pesticides and fertilizers, and also increase the nutritious aspect of the food in general. Organic cultivation is taking up in a very big way. It takes minimum 3 to 4 years for a regular existing soil to turn from ordinary soil to an organic soil. Efforts are very strong. Honorable Home Minister Amit Shah ji, he is also Minister for Cooperation, you know that. So all the cooperative societies in the country, he has energized, and you have 724-25 Krishi Vijnana Kendras across the country, and telling everybody that let us go towards this organic farming. One is that we reduce the dependence on pesticides and nutraceuticals, and also try to evaluate the nutritional aspect in this. Coming to the nutraceutical industry, FSSAI in 2016 itself has formulated the guidelines, taking inputs from the industry. See, FSSAI is a completely democratic setup. When we try to set up one standard for any item, any food item, we take inputs from you, place it before the scientific panel, and this scientific panel goes through that, and after that it gives to scientific committee. In the scientific committee, again we invite inputs from the industry. From there it goes to authority. From authority it goes to the ministry, and then draft is given. Draft declaration is notified. After declaration of the draft, then again it is the response from the civil society and the stakeholders, and entire series is reconstructed like scientific panel, scientific committee, food authority, and the ministry. Then we notify this. Your concerns are addressed every time. Again, we in 2000 later we have amended that. So whatever concerns of nutraceutical industry is there, we are here to address that, and we are here to resolve it. Right. Two things which we have noticed is that the duplicate companies which are mushrooming in the name of pharma, in the name of Nutria, right? And we are addressing that. Whenever we receive some complaints that in Himachal Pradesh, in Hyderabad, there. I'm not saying that that every entire industry is like that. And the few people are there in every industry, in every sector. We have some people like that. So where are you getting your raw materials? Please understand, the people of this country trust your industry. They trust FSSAI, saying that FSSAI is taking care of this. CDSCO is taking care of this. So when I'm eating a capsule, अगर डोलो मैं खा रहा हूँ, तो मैं ट्रस्ट कर रहा हूँ, मतलब बिलीफ है कि अच्छा है, मैं खा रहा हूँ. न्यूट्रास्यूटिकल से कुछ आ रहा है तो मैं खा रहा हूँ, तो मैं आई बिलीव दैट, यकीनन कह सकता हूँ कि ये मेरी सेहत के लिए अच्छा है, क्योंकि somebody is certifying this. तो उसमें क्या हो रहा है, खाने के बाद क्या होता है. आई डोंट वांट टू टेक द नेम ऑफ द कंपनी, बट मैंने भी खरीदा था न्यूट्रास्यूटिकल का 6 महीने पहले. तो कैल्शियम मेरा कम है, तो कैल्शियम के लिए मैं कैल्शियम का डब्बा खरीदा, तो मैं भी खाना शुरू कर दिया. 15 दिन, मी एंड माई वाइफ वी हैड. 16th day onwards, correctly, exactly 16th day onwards, my head started spinning. तो ऑफिस में, from office to door, while I was walking, I was tilting. I could see that. मैंने बोला, what is happening to me? We went to a checkup and everything was normal. Then we stopped on the 7th day. In next 3-4 days, we were completely normal. So then again I have seen the dosage of that. Then I've sent to my lab, since and all that. Everything is normal. Of course, maybe it depends on body to body. Human body के साथ. Science is getting into that direction, that every body will have its own medicine, its own capsules, its own syrups, right? So that is one aspect, that duplicate companies are coming up, and there's a mushrooming. One is company duplicate. Second is the products may be duplicate. In the villages, even you will not be having that much of reach in the villages where duplicate company के नाम पे आ जाता है, बेच देते हैं. ठीक है, ये वाला you have to be very careful about it. Third aspect is labeling. So labeling aspect में many complaints we receive. That also, let me tell you one thing. I assure you that FSSAI will not take up any decision unless it is discussed with the industry, unless you people are satisfied about it. It is a regulatory body, no doubt about that. We will regulate. I'm sure industry is also matured enough to understand that health comes first. We're all born for 100 years. Shatamanam bhavati shatayu purushatendriye ayushvendriye pratishtati. So people are born for 100 years in this country. So all the medicines, Ayurveda, he's sitting there, he will tell you more about the Ayurveda, strengths of Ayurveda and all. So we have to assure that people live 100 years healthily, right? So that for that, the strength that you require, elderly people, above 70-year people, what kind of nutrition is what that gets onto the table through rice, dal or roti. Additionally, supplements जो बना रहे हैं आप, our fathers and grandparents are eating that the nutritional supplements, health supplements, dietary supplements, सभी खा रहे हैं. पूरा जिम जो कर रहे हैं, जितने भी ये जिम्स है, जिम्नाजियम्स है हिंदुस्तान में, वहाँ लोग कितने भी खा रहे हैं. whatever they are eating, you have to educate them. When you are selling, you have to educate all this younger generation who are consuming this. When they enter the gymnasium with so much of belief and faith in your products, they mix it in milk, they mix it in water. You have to generate awareness that see भैया ऐसा खाना है, ऐसा पीना है, and there are certain duplicate things which are happening. Dosage बढ़ना नहीं है. Everything is less than 1 RDA, right? Everything less than 1 RDA. So but you have to educate. It is your responsibility. I'm sure we will learn more when Ayurveda experts, advisor to the ministry is here. He will mention to you about, because the natural nutraceuticals, natural health supplements are there in the nature, and India is endowed with abundant natural resources. We don't have to depend on any other country for that. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity to me, and all the best for the award winners. Namaskar.
along with guest of honor Dr. Manoj Nesari, along with other esteemed dignitaries, to please stand and present these prestigious awards. We have two awards in three categories, starting with the first category, which is Best Nutraceuticals Product of the Year 2024. And the runner up in this category is Back4 Pharmaceuticals India Limited, Mr. Achal Chauhan, CEO, Director, and Mr. Narendra Tripathi, AVP Quality and Regulatory Affairs, to kindly come and receive this prestigious award. Kindly keep the applause going, ladies and gentlemen. Let's compensate this with our roaring round of applause. Many congratulations to Back4 Pharmaceuticals India Limited. And now the winner in this category, that is winner for Best Nutraceuticals Product of the Year 2024, goes to Ginford Olean, requesting Dr. Somshekhar and Mr. Vivek Parachur, co-founders and CEO, to please come and receive this prestigious award. We need a thunderous and a roaring round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for the award ceremony. We need some energy in the house. Many, many congratulations. Moving forward to our next category, which is Best Nutraceuticals Ingredients Manufacturer of the Year 2024. And the runner-up in this category is Biogen Extracts Private Limited, Mr. Piyush Mohta, founder and director, Biogen Extracts Private Limited, to kindly come on stage. We need a louder round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Many congratulations to Biogen Extracts Private Limited, the runner-up in this category. And now the winner for Best Nutraceuticals Ingredients Manufacturer of the Year 2024 is Botanic Healthcare Private Limited, Mr. Gaurav Soni, Managing Director, Botanic Healthcare Private Limited, to please join us on stage. Many congratulations. Kindly keep the applause going as we present this prestigious award to the golden winners. Moving forward to the last category, which is Best Nutraceuticals Company of the Year 2024. The runner-up in this category is New Flower Foods and Nutrition, Mr. Akshat Khandelwal, founder and CEO, New Flower Foods and Nutrition, the runner-up for Best Nutraceutical Company of the Year. And now the last award for the day. The winner for the Best Nutraceutical Company of the Year 2024 goes to Zion Life Sciences Limited, Mr. Suresh Garg, CMD, Zion Life Sciences Limited, to please join us. Kindly keep the applause going, ladies and gentlemen. Many, many congratulations to all the golden winners, and we'll now have a group photograph with all the awardees, requesting all our awardees to please join us for a group photograph with all the esteemed dignitaries present on stage. All our 6 awardees to please join for a group photograph. Let this moment be etched in our memories forever. Once again, many congratulations and a round of applause for all the awardees, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Thank you, dignitaries, for doing the honors. Our chief guest, sir, will have to leave due to some unavoidable commitment. Once again, a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for our chief guest, Shri G. Kamlavadan Raoji, for joining us, for gracing this event with his benign presence, for his invaluable support. Please give it up for our chief guest, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us, for your valuable time. Thank you so much. And let's continue. Our journey today continues with the insights from a visionary. Please requesting our dignitaries to please be seated. Our journey today continues with insights from a visionary. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Suresh Garg, CMD Zion Life Sciences Limited, for the industry address. Can we all please welcome Mr. Garg on the dais?
Honorable Manojji, authorities on the dash, ladies and gentlemen, captains of the industry, subject matter experts, I welcome all of you in this Nutra Summit. COVID has given a lot of learning to us and a reminder, Dadi maa ke nuskhe. Earlier, Dadi Ma gives you fruit, vegetables, which comes in the form of Nutra. And now the same thing given to all ages in the form of extracts, maybe in the form of tablet, maybe in the form of capsules, liquids. Even the new startup has come with a new ideas which are innovative and lot of technology involved into that in the new dosier form like gummies, subling spray, and so on. So these new ideas are going worldwide from India, which is giving a lot of proud. Yes, India is going much forward. Not only forward, now showing to the world where we stand. Nutra is blooming like anything. Earlier, we are just 2% of the world in Nutra. We will be now $18 millions by 2050, 25, and lot of discussions are going on, and now the confidence is given. We are targeting $100 billions by 2030. That's a big proud, and the whole industry is looking towards that, and the things are happening so fast, even we have not think of. Sir, as you know, this industry is growing excellent. Even when we talk about the competition, in any corner of the world, we have to compete with. And India is coming the first in the form of different dosier form. And now the lot of science and clinicals coming towards that, which was not earlier. Even all the pharma industry is looking for the Nutra enter into. And whole the world being the India is becoming hub in health and wellness looking towards India. It's a big proud. But sir, there is no clear-cut definition of the nutraceutical, which is a very, very big concern. Government don't understand the Nutra to us, talking about all types of pharma, which is becoming a very, very serious concern. If the government declares any incentives if we'll talk about product link incentives, any kind of support in the form of subsidies, even the GST charged on the nutraceutical is too high comparing to the Ayurvedic and pharma. That becomes a very, very serious concern which needs to be addressed. Once we are talking about Nutra being is a preventive, hardly any side effect, and very well accepted worldwide that this is the best industry of the world. So why not we are charging a reasonable taxes of this? One side we are saying it's a very growing industry and we can go much ahead than even China on this, but this needs to be considered as a specific industry. It's much even ahead than the food if we will talk about, because this is a food which is directly linked with the health and wellness. Sir, I'm just at a cup of tea discussing with Mr. Rao because it's a kind of a threat to the industry, because the government has planning to change how the regulatory works at present. But Mr. Rao has given the confidence. This is a press news only, so nothing to worry about. If any kind of anything comes up, we will surely discuss with the industry first and then decide the things. So far, nothing to worry about. And he has mentioned, I'm just going from here to that discussion, and everything is in my mind. Don't worry. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Next on our agenda is a special address from a distinguished personality, the chairman of Chef Excel. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Lal Hingorani on the dais.
Yeah, thank you. Respected Dr. Manoj Nesuri, Advisor Ministry of Ayush, Dr. Blossom Kochar of Ashokam, Shri Alvin Samuel from PP Tech, Science Research, invited eminent speakers, distinguished guests, friends, colleagues, fellow exporters, and ladies and gentlemen. I'm actually coming and speaking on behalf of the Export Council. So my this thing more will be on the export side. What are the problems of the industry and all these things? As our earlier speaker said very rightly, that GST of 18%, that's for the luxury goods. That is on nutraceuticals are not luxury, they are now necessity. Rather, you should take the nutraceuticals so there's the burden on the hospitals and all this thing goes low. And we are putting 12% on the pharma, but 18% on this. And I'll just speak about what Dr. Kochar also said, okay, about the beauty, because now that new trend is coming, beauty from within. It's not just on the skin that you apply and all these things. There are so many products which are being developed now, which are you take orally and it gives you an effect on your skin, rather, whatever you want, like wrinkles or this or that. So that is quite a good research is going on right now, and good products are also coming into the market now. Now, actually, this 9th Nutraceutical Summit and award functions got over recently, just now, and I really congratulate everyone who got these awards. Must be working very hard for these things, and there is some problems which are faced by the industry. And since I became like a vice chairman, I think my major work has been on the Biodiversity Act. The Biodiversity Act is, it is there like in so many countries. US is not a signatory to that. China does not implement that, and we are competing with China. So here we are. It's not just whatever I say. We are not bothered about that 0.5% or 1% they are taking on that. It's not the industry which should be bothered about that, because initially there were no GST on the botanicals. Like when you were buying a raw herbs, there was very few. Some of the herbs were without GST. GST came, people started paying it. So if they make from 5% to 6%, industry will think that some price increase has come, and it will be around. Everyone will have to pay that. But it's a regulation has got so many other things which is bothering the industry, that they can come into your industry. They are treating you like a, and you are going to do steal something from somewhere and all that thing. That kind of treatment is not required by the industry, which is quite mature now. And it's not that it's very nascent. And nowadays people are following up all these regulations. Then recently Chef Excel got in February, I think, this Nutraceuticals segment also, and under us. And we are planning for a export target of US $2 billion dollars for this year, and another 5 to 10 years we want to take it to like $10 billion. Actually, botanical extracts are, when you hear that the nutraceutical industry is like 200 billions and all these things, it's not that it contains all the botanicals only. It is vitamins, other non even herbal products which are coming under nutraceuticals. Everything is coming under that. So total uh, business of botanicals is only $30 billion. Out of that, today we are doing almost 1.4, $1.5 billion export is happening for the ingredients, what we call extracts of the herb botanicals from here in this, from this country. And that, and we have, the Chef Excel has made this thing presentation, how we'll take it to $10 billion to the Commerce Ministry, and that is available with us, how we will go for that. Basically, the industry has also to see that for exports there are a lot of regulations of the other countries. Somewhere the government has to also come to the help, because there is a law in USA where whichever product you are exporting to the US before 1984, that will be allowed without going for a GRAS. The new products, whichever you are thinking, now there are so many herbs in India, like botanicals are there, which are not exported at all before 84. So for that, you have to go for a GRAS, and the expenses for submitting that GRAS file is something like $40,000 to $50,000. So the industry will not spend only on a, because the people who were before and they have started exporting, for them it's very easy. But a newcomer who will come, a startup company or this thing, for them to spend $50,000 on just grass status, and that becomes not exclusively for that company, then it is grass, that product. So that somewhere government has to help the industry in filing these, in that, because you require a toxicity studies and all these things. So those studies again spend a lot of money. And this is just a fees. $30,000 is a fee there. Then there is the expenses for the toxicity studies and all these things. So this is just US. Then there are other countries where you have to go for that. But once it becomes a grass in USA, it's acceptable to other countries also. It becomes more easy to register those products in those countries. So this is where we require something from the because it has to be like an Indian products. They have to pick up which are the Indian products which have potential as a nutraceuticals in those industries. The government has to pick up and do a complete study, because we have a lot of this CSIR labs like CDRI. They have Animal House, which is GLP, this thing certified for the toxicity studies. they can do these studies and then submit it with the help of some industry to the US, like file making and all these things. There are so many companies who are doing it. Almost 15 to 20 companies are doing from India this GRAS submissions. So, just before I conclude, uh, two quick points on which I am confident healthy discussions will be taking place today. There's discussions after this, and in that we'll be discussing these points. That's one of my point was this, and second is adulterations. Somewhere adulterations and these pesticides issues are coming also in the botanicals. So that is to be addressed. Like some agencies have to work together, NGOs have to come in that and see that we are getting organic products. Now I see that North India, may a lot of states are becoming totally organic, which will help then getting all these products organic certified. And then the biggest problem for export is the HS code. HS code is not there for nutraceuticals, these herbal and botanicals. So if HS code is not there, we don't come to know which is the product which is going for export, because they are all under others. So data is very, very important to find out where you should work more. The researchers and all these things, they'll find out that this product is working more. I was in a conference in Mississippi there, and almost 7 years back, when 7 to 8 years back, when one person just presented on ashwagandha, he said, "This is the product to be seen now. This will grow like anything," because he came out with the results. In last 10 years, how many publications were coming on ashwagandha, and he showed that in last 2 to 3 years, the publications have gone triple like that. And definitely that product will now become the next to curcumin, because our one of the only products was in the first 10 list of Indian products. The turmeric was there. The next one that has come into first 10 is ashwagandha now. So he had predicted something like 8 years, 9 years back. So this thing we have to see, okay, which is the product which will go into this thing, what are the requirements of the Western countries, what kind of problems they have, what kind of nutrition they need. So on that basis, we have to develop a next generation product. And in that, these laboratories, which are CSR laboratories, they have to help industry coming out. They have wealth like sitting there. Their patents are expiring, but they are not sharing with anyone. And they have a lot of patents on these botanicals, triple IM, Jammu, CDRI, and all those things. They are sitting on that, but not sharing to anybody very easily. Like so, then, as I was saying, safety, efficacy studies, and all these things, even the because now the world is again changing from initially we were talking about the efficacy of a product on certain disease. From that disease, and people who are claiming their product to be good for diabetes and all these things, for that they were doing clinical trials. Now it is a different story. Now nutraceuticals should not have any claims. That is what the consumer thinks in the Western world. They say, do a clinical trial on volunteers which are healthy and show that it will have certain efficacy, so it will not go to the some disease pattern, they'll not go. Like during the COVID also, everybody must have taken a lot of as she also said, a lot of nutraceuticals you took. And that's from our Ayurvedic things, we found out that these products are like very good for immunomodulators and all these things. On that basis, we started taking, but there is no study which is saying that a normal person, if he takes, who's a healthy, what will be the effect of that product on them. So this kind of studies are required now. When a normal person, a healthy volunteer takes something product, what will be the effect? We have started with the help of Ayush department, a big clinical trial. We have started on that. What will be the effect of those immunomodulators which were promoted by the government? How it is working? But these things are required now. The world is changing, and every day something different is coming in nutraceutical world, and that's how we have to go. I think I have taken a little more time, and I'll say that regulatory authorities and all these things, they have to also keep on changing every time, because as the requirements and all these things are changing, we have to change the regulatory. That day I was sitting with Dr. Prakash V. Rao, CFTIR person, and he said in this thing, we are going to change the regulations every year. We are going to tweak that something in the FSSI, because he was, I think, father of the FSSI in those days. So he said we are doing that tweaking, so which will be most welcome for the industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Our journey through wisdom and expertise continue. I'm delighted to welcome on the days our guest of honor, Dr. Manoj Nesari. Let's welcome him with a warm round of applause.
First of all, I am thankful to ASSOCHAM, the director, and the entire team of ASSOCHAM for organizing this wonderful symposium on this very important topic of nutraceutical. The dignitaries on the dais, all the experts, those who are here, my friend Amit and Blossom Kochar ji, Garg ji, Hingorani ji, and Mr. Alvin. The very important aspect in the nutraceutical is obviously, as you mentioned, the Ayurveda and the Ayush sector, and having the large potential in that, and 2-3 factors which are actually reflected in the speeches before. Once regarding the definition, what is the definition? And we know that there is no clear-cut definition, but what Ayurveda said, Ayurveda has never mentioned either it is a drug or nutraceutical or a botanical or a herbal. Ayurveda has used a typical word called as dravya. So the definition says that Bhishak Dravyani Upasthata Rogi Pada Chatushtayam. For maintaining the health, there are these 4 pillars are there which are important. And in this particular meeting, I would focus on these 2. Dravya. So dravya is substance, whether it is water, whether it is a herb, whether it is a rice, whether it is wheat, or whether it is air, whatever it is there. So that is dravya. Now when you process this particular substance, so depending upon the process, the qualities that actually we want, we can either imbibe or we can reduce. And that is said that Samskaro hi gunantaradhanam. Samskar means processing. So when you subject a particular substance to any processing, it is bound to change its properties. Now that is upon the industry, that how actually we are going to change the property, whether actually we are going to increase something, whether we are going to decrease something, whether it is color, whether it is taste, whether it is a therapeutic efficacy, whatever it is. So that is a big aspect which needs to be actually addressed. And the second is the customer, because the customer needs to be informed, the customer needs to be educated, because ultimately even the WHO says that health is my own responsibility. So every citizen, every person should be responsible, should take the responsibility, should take participation to have the optimal health. Now when we say that there should be people's participation in the health, in that case it is not only the 3-tier structure that usually we talk about, the district level and the tehsil level. So that structure, that is the district hospital, CHC and PSC, so that is not sufficient, because that is from the provider side. The government is providing, or maybe in the private sector they are providing the tertiary care hospitals, but that is for the sickness. Here we are talking about the wellness, and especially to promote the health, which is also the motive of the WHO. Now when we are talking about the promotion of health, first of all the importance is how to educate the masses and how to encourage them to use these various products as a first aid or as a preventive aspect. So this is very important thing, and this is the 4th tier of the entire healthcare system, that the Ministry of Ayush is working on. We are focusing on that. We would like to promote this, and this is also supported by the WHO, the fourth tier of the health structure. So this is very important thing, and I think that the entire nutraceutical market, so they have the lost lot of potential in this fourth tier of the health structure. Now, when we talk about the fourth tier of the health structure, I would like to give one example of ORT. Now, ORT is a huge business we know, and before 1970, it was thought that the ORT, there was no concept of ORT. The only rehydration was only possible through the intravenous thing, and for that you need to get admitted in the hospital. But during the Bangladesh war, it was very much actually given on a very large scale, because there were lot many Bangladeshi refugees, and that led to the diarrhea. And for that, the important thing is to have the rehydration and this simple thing of salt and water. So oral rehydration, what we call now ORT. So that ORT became very, very important, and that actually on a very large scale showed the evidence that how it is equally, or rather more effective, it is more economic, and it is applicable. Because when you have to reach the masses, you can't actually have them to in the hospital. We also perform witness this during the COVID saga, when the large community is getting sick. So we cannot have so much of hospitals to get them admitted, but it is better to actually treat them, or better to promote their health or prevent the diseases in their home itself. So here comes the importance of the nutraceutical industry. And when we talk about this nutraceutical industry, on the other side we have the huge knowledge of Ayurveda. Now, how to actually capitalize on this huge knowledge base of Ayurveda? Ashwagandha is only one, but then there are at least 3,900 edible plant species in India. So I repeat, there are 3,900 edible plant species in India, because India is a biodiversity hotspot. At the same time, we are also engaged in the MOU with the different countries, and it is not so the when we talk about the herbal export, even today also the herbal export, what we talk, it is not only the finished good, but even the raw material is also going on a very large scale, especially to the European countries, to the France, to the Germany, where actually it get repacked, where it get reprocessed, so that there is value addition is there, and from there it is again supplied either to Russia, or to USA, or to Canada, and many other countries. So this trend we have seen, this trend is now gradually picking up even in the US also. It is also picking up in the Canada also, in all of, in the other countries, and in the European Union. So this trend is picking up, where actually the raw herbs, they are getting exported, and where they are getting the value addition. Now, instead of that, if we actually utilize the raw material which is available in India, at the same time, it is also possible to get the raw material from the other countries, maybe from Indonesia, or from Sri Lanka, or from some other countries where there is a huge raw material is also there. So we can bank upon that, we can process it, and we can export it. So this is actually another way to think at this. And in these lines, when we are talking about the nutraceutical, initially there was a lot of resistance from the different sectors to have whether to have a regulation on Ayurveda Ahar or not. And there are different aspects to for this debate, whether there should be a regulation or not. But finally, we convinced the FSSI, and FSSI brought out this regulation called as the Ayurveda Ahar. Now this Ayurveda Ahar regulation is there, and now the further work needs to be done to further promote and further classify the Ayurveda Ahar, because still, though actually the regulation is there, there is not much clarity on what can be manufactured, what can be labeled under the Ayurveda Ahar, what will be the taxes on that, so on and so forth. So there, that work is going on, and we are working on that. At the same time, we also understand that there are the issues related to HS code, because the 8-digit HS code, so that is very much required when we interact with initially with the Ayush industry, then followed by the nutraceutical. So there also we found that there are a lot many gap areas because there is only at present the HS code, or there is only uh, the Ayurveda, Siddha, and Unani. So the medicants and medicaments. So these are the only two kind of categories are there, and that actually doesn't cover the entire thing. And because of that, we had lot many discussions with all the relevant authorities. There is a committee which is working on that. And once these HS code, when they are well defined, and that will definitely help the industry for the purpose of export, because the HS code, the HS code, they are primarily actually defined for the purpose of import, but then actually it has to be harmonized. So some countries they are having the 10 digit, some countries they are having the 8 digit, some they are having a 6 digit, but more actually you go to the 8 or 10 digit, there actually you can get the specific data on the particular plant species. So we are working on that. At the same time, as mentioned, so the grass list. So regarding the grass list, the ministry is also working. But the first of all, we took the issue with the European Union, and in the European Union, there is a committee called as HMPC. So HMPC is under the EMA, that is the European Medical Agency, which is the regulatory authority, and under that this HMPC is there, and this HMPC is the committee for herbal medicinal product. And this HMPC, they develop the monograph. These monograph, they are primarily based on the safety aspect. So these safety aspects are very important. The Ministry of Ayush developed the 8 monographs submitted to the EU, but then there are many lot of information which is required primarily from the industries. And this actually we have been requesting the many industries to submit this information, that since when this product you are selling in the European Union, there are various the components of that, those are there. On this platform, again, I request to the nutraceutical industry, because now there are ashwagandha and the borivia, and there are many the plant varieties, they are being exported as a nutraceutical. So I request you that if you have such kind of information, so definitely please share with us, so that we can complete this 8 monograph. At least starting with one should be a good beginning, and I think the beginning should be the ashwagandha, as you rightly mentioned. And because ashwagandha is getting more and more popularity now, there was an initiative from the Denmark, and Denmark banned the import of ashwagandha. But there was no any logical reason for that. The Ministry of Ayush has taken this matter with the Denmark in the official channel. At the same time, we have taken up the matter with the EU also, because Denmark is a part of the EU, and there is a mechanism under the EU. Because of the initiative taken by the Ministry of Ayush, there is a technical working group under for Ayurveda. So India EU Technical Working Group on Ayurveda. So this is a formal mechanism with the EU that the Ministry of Ayush, the Government of India, has established, and any issue related to the botanicals or the herbals or the medicinal plant, they can be taken up with the EU through this particular mechanism, where this is a particular technical working group. And in this technical working group, all the 41 EU member countries and the observer countries, so they are the member of this. So once the decision is taken, it is mandatory to follow to the all the EU countries. And I believe that once actually the if any particular plant is considered as a safe in the EU, it will be easier to export to the Canada or to the Australia or to the USA as well. So we have taken this initiative. At the same time, we have also signed the MOU with the USP. We are also working on harmonizing the standards of these botanicals. So from the regulatory aspect of point, the ministry has taken many initiatives to facilitate the export of the Ayush products, the botanical, the nutraceutical. At the same time, the other aspect which I mentioned, that when you do the processing, so in the processing there is possibility that the particular plant, it may be safe when you are using as a whole product, as a whole plant, but when you identify a particular extract, then it might cause some kind of side effect. So we have to be very careful about that. And the nutraceutical industry, when you are using the extract, I would definitely recommend that you please mention on the label that what kind of extract we are using, because depending upon the extract, because these are the challenges that actually we face at the international level as well, that some companies product it is banned because it is found to have the toxic effect, but then it is not mentioned on the label. Say for example, if it is ashwagandha, so what kind of extract, what is the process of extraction has been used, what component of that particular extract is used in the particular formulation, so that is not well defined. They simply define the only the vidania somnifera something, and that is again a counterproductive thing. So there are various technical aspects, there are various legal aspects which are linked with the nutraceutical, as well as it is actually linked with the drugs as well. So there is a lot of work is to be done. The Ministry of Ayush is working on that, and for any kind of support that you need, you are most welcome to the Ministry of Ayush. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your wholehearted support and your insightful address. I now invite Mr. Amit Srivastav to render concluding remarks and propose vote of thanks.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, and it's really an honor to be here. As co-chairman of SHM, I sincerely thank the dignitaries on the stage. It has been a very insightful learning from these dignitaries, a solid collective wisdom. And at this note, unfortunately, the chief guest had to leave earlier, but I want to take this opportunity to re-highlight a very interesting and actually a very good news. And I would certainly want this to be on record. I hope recording chal raha, right? The CEO of FSSAI, last 2 weeks has been a lot of turmoil in the industry that nutraceuticals is being evaluated to be shifted under CDSCO. It must be brought under everyone's cognizance. Based on the conversation with the CEO of FSSAI, he has categorically demystified this myth that nutraceuticals is not entering CDSCO. That's point number one. And that's the reason I said record it. Okay. Second, very important thing which I observed, he himself was surprised when Devjani ma'am showed the news to him that this is the news, and the media has blatantly used FSSAI as one of the participants in that news, and he himself is not aware of it. Okay, so and he started citing example how intent of a government is misappropriated by media for that wow, or negativity sells faster than the positivity, right? So that's a very reassuring news, and I'm pretty happy about it. I'm sure you guys all must be really happy about it. While listening, I had prepared my note to talk, but then after listening to amazing wisdom, I have a 2-minute speech now, and this comes from my heart. With the turmoil of last 2 weeks, to what I heard from the CEO of FSSAI, to the wisdom I carry from the dignitaries here, this is my interpretation of Indian nutraceutical industry. Indian nutraceutical industry is actually undergoing puberty now. So what is puberty? We all know. When the moment of puberty comes in our life, there's a brain that sends out signal to organs which were chilling out till now. And then there's a misappropriation between brain and organs, a dispute, a challenge, anxiety. And then there is a bridging component called as hormones, which try to balance out between brain and organs, and we evolve into adults. We then start multiplying. Why this? In last 8 years, from nowhere to formation of, or 9 years, formation of FSSAI, to shaping up policies, to industry growing rampantly with no control, to very good companies who meant responsible nutrition, so they were conducting clinical trial, and we have leaders sitting here who have done great job, to guys who took leverage of this opportunity and they did fly by night operations and so on. They got bad impression to our industry, both in India and internationally. But you know what? Last 2-3 weeks has of this process of puberty has all of a sudden got all the associations of the country. So I believe that nutraceutical is one industry which doesn't have a MyBab. There's no ministry which owns up on paper this industry, but there are associations. I think there are more associations in the country than number of roads in the country. And this is the statement I made. There's no MyBab is not mine. I would not name the officer, but the secretary of our top ministry during our conversation said, Amit, this industry doesn't have a MyBab. When you come and make a presentation, there'll be 200 meetings lined up with me countering what you have told. So in a scenario like this, I'd like to stay away. And it is very rightful of IAS officers because they are loaded with work, and it's not expected that they are going to take decision. So now what has started happening? In last 2 weeks, I have seen an amazing phenomena happening. Series of Zoom meetings which I stopped attending because, we must unite. No unity happens. But what really happened is, in this unionism of unity and so on, all of a sudden, industry started creating small modular task force of, first of all, defining, let us first know what is nutraceuticals. I must be 50 people, and if I ask 50 people, there will be 50 answers on nutraceuticals. Okay, so as an industry, what is the definition of this industry? Second, what should be the criteria of a factory audit? What should be the criteria of clinical trials? What is the standardization? Anyway, long story short, now these modular bodies are trying to first shape up what should be the operating format that industry must self-govern. Self-governance was a fashionable topic for last 8 years in conferences. All of a sudden started happening because I think maybe sometimes threat, और हिंदी बोलते हैं जब तक जूते नहीं पड़ते काम नहीं होता. So this threat has made this started happening, and very happy to share because I'm in part of so many task force. That's an industry task force. That the paper that is coming out defining it would be compiled, and the industry is talking of making representation to right ministry because we need to first find out MyBab. And second is we need to collaborate with Nutra Task Force, and very lucky to have Secretary to Nutra Task Force, Dr. Meenakshi, with us, and also then collaborate with the FSSAI. So self-regulatory guideline in collaboration with ministry, who becomes our MyBab, and the regulator will pave the pathway to the big picture, which is $100 billion nutraceutical ecosystem, which is very much possible. There's not a fancy number. So we have done the mathematics. We means not I, the group of industry leaders. So with this, I would not take much time, but I think today is a very positive and energetic day. And thank you, Sandeep, for inviting me. Reason being, I was off sick. I stay in Bangalore. And at a gunpoint, Sandeep asked me to be here today morning. So I'm awake since 2 in the morning, took a morning flight here. But I think this couldn't have been a better day with the demystification by the CEO of FSSAI to the last 2 weeks evolution of modular bodies creating self-regulatory guidelines to amazing wisdom that we have from dignitaries, which I think should be brought down to those modular bodies in executing it, because I think I can foresee now in 1 year's time a solid self-regulatory body coming up for the industry, and I'm sure that the government would respect it, mandate it, and both will work in conjunction with each other. Thank you very much. I'm very proud to be an Indian in nutraceutical industry, which is going to be $100 billion nutraceutical ecosystem. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, sir. With this, we conclude the inaugural session. A round of applause for all the esteemed dignitaries present on stage. Special thanks to our guest of honor, Dr. Manoj Nisari, for joining us. I request Mr. Alvin Samuel to please stay back for the fireside chat. Kindly keep the applause going as we thank all our distinguished guests to please come together for a group photograph. Thank you very much. Thank you again. Thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, we are now entering a very engaging segment, that is the fireside chat, where we can gain deeper insights into the industry through a candid conversation. And we'll quickly prepare the stage for the fireside chat. That today will be moderated by a seasoned professional in the field, Mr. Elvin Samuel, Vice President of TechSci Research. Joining him is a special guest, Mr. Sandeep Verma, Country Head for India Consumer Health Division at Bayer.
So, good afternoon to all of you again. I have with me Sandeep Verma, who's the country head for Bayer, and I'm going to ask him certain questions, which I hope he gives answers, because I'm going to really pick up his brains right now. So, Sandeep, tell me one thing: is we've been hearing about nutraceuticals, etc. So why we are eating food and everything? Why is this topic of nutrition so important? First of all.
Okay, so that is indeed a very provocative question, a challenging one. But because we like challenges, so see the answers going to be very simple. It's not possible to have a 100% Viksit Bharat without a 100% Poshit Bharat. As we seek to be, amongst the top 3 economies of the world, by 2030, which is basically our overall, vision as a country. I think the role of nutrition overall. So I'll first talk about nutrition, and then I'll come to nutraceuticals specifically. The role of nutrition cannot be of any more critical. It's at this juncture, at this moment, it's become of absolute critical importance. And let me give you maybe 4 or 5 points just to sort of get a bit more specific. So I think the first importance of nutrition is obviously to ensure that the entire country is healthy. So the public health becomes an extremely important part of what nutrition does, and what nutrition can help you with. So, and I think one of the gentlemen here was mentioning in the previous sessions that the burden of disease goes down if you are healthy, and your health really starts with good nutrition, right? So that there's a very critical component. Good nutrition, or things which lead to good nutrition, is a very critical component of public health. I think the second point, which is a very direct relationship to the overall growth of the country, is the economic development. You cannot be at your 100% productive self if you're not 100% healthy. Simple. If you get tired too fast, if you're not able to finish your task in a day, I'm just giving a very layperson's example, which can be you and me as well. I'm not talking about any specific part of the population. It's all of us, every single person in this room. If you keep getting tired, if you're not able to finish the task, your normal task in the day, then obviously your productivity as a person goes down. And now multiply that by 1.4 billion. Okay, and then you understand the impact on overall nation's productivity, how that can go. We have the youngest median age amongst all the countries in the world. We have the biggest workforce in the world, and it's critical for us to ensure that this workforce also works at its highest productive level. So that's the second important, which is that a direct correlation to the economic development as such. I think the third point here is that the diversity of a country. So the diversity of a country means that 29 states, okay, can have 29 different challenges when it comes to health and nutrition, and hence it becomes imperative to ensure that every single part of the every single state or every single part of the country is studied properly to understand the specific diets over there, the specific socioeconomic status over there, cultural factors over there, and then come to the actual solutions which can lead to nutrition. So again, nutrition becomes important. And I think the fourth aspect is the very rapid pace of urbanization which we are seeing in our country, which has also led to a lot of economic development and a lot of prosperity in this country. Now, the negative side of that, obviously, is that all of us, and again I include both of us as well, though we are slightly older than the younger guys, but it's okay. So all of us also have sort of fallen prey to the kind of eating which may not be the best suited, right? It's suited to the times we keep. It's not suited to the health that we should have, right? So the rapid spread of processed foods, junk food, missing meals, etc., has also led to an issue getting worse in urban centers of the country as well. So that becomes the other one. That becomes the fourth point, which is this rapid pace of urbanization also leads you to nutrition challenges. And I think the fifth and possibly the most important point is the whole issue of women's health in this country. 1 out of 2 women in this, and I'm sure you know of all this data more than I do. 1 out of 2 women in this country is iron deficient, has some form of iron deficiency or the other, and we're all aware of that. And this doesn't mean just women in the lower economic strata. It's basically in this room also. 1 out of every women in this room, 1 out of 2 every women in this room, 2 women in this room would have. So these 5-6 facts or these 5-6 factors tell us how important nutrition is, or how important it is to ensure that that the health of this nation, okay, remains at its highest levels, etc. Yeah. So that's the importance of nutrition.
So I seem to be eating every day, right? Proper food. So then why do I require nutraceuticals?
Yeah. So I think that probably is the biggest detractor for, or the biggest reason for people not taking supplements. And here, when I say supplements, I mean everything, nutraceuticals and the other supplements as well. I think all of us believe in the dictum of "I'm okay, you are okay." Okay, so I'm eating regular meals, I'm sleeping regularly, I go to the gym, I work out regularly, so I'm good. So the point is, and I think again one of the gentlemen in the morning was talking about it, that you don't know what food you're eating literally. Okay, you may be eating the greenest of salads, but how do you know that it's actually giving you all the nutrition that books have told you it should give you, right? And interesting, and I'll quote here a study which we conducted in India amongst almost 2,500 doctors a couple of years back, where we asked the doctors this exact question, right? Which is, if I eat a completely balanced diet, extreme, I eat a completely balanced diet from whatever the markets in India are sort of giving me. Okay, do I still need to eat supplements? Do I still need some more micronutrient supplementation? And 90% of the doctors said balanced diet is definitely the foundation of good nutrition, for sure. If you're not having a balanced diet, then there is no point of talking about nutraceuticals, honestly. But even a balanced diet can give you only up to 70% of your micronutrient deficiency. So for the balance 30, and that really starts by you eating a balanced diet completely, the balance 30 has to come from supplementation. And why do you think we have in India, and again, let me just give you some facts here. 2 billion people in this world are micronutrient deficient. So they have micronutrient deficiencies, 2 billion. And guess which country has the maximum number? And guess what percentage of this 2 billion comes from India? Take one guess. Half of that. One half. So almost 1 billion people in India, out of the 2 billion people in the world who have micronutrient deficiencies, come from India. It's not 25%, it's almost 50%. So that should answer your question of why, etc. See, the reason for why you may not be getting it could be many, but and it really starts with the food you eat. That is the basic foundation, absolutely the basic foundation. Yeah, but from the food, why you're not getting it is, again, it's a factor of your diet. It's a factor of where are you making that food. It's a factor of where are you getting that food from. And even if you get it all right, you will still need that help. There is no getting away from it.
So basically, what are the myths? Why are people shunning away from having any kind of nutraceuticals?
So I think the biggest issue and the biggest, and again I quote from a chief guest when he was talking about it, like he was saying that 15 years ago he did not even know about nutraceuticals, he did not even know about supplements and all. which is 100% true. I did not know about 10 years back, 10, 12 years back. So the biggest issue, okay, is a lack of awareness. Biggest issue, the single biggest issue. And if educated people like us, if we don't know about nutraceuticals, supplements, all these things, then imagine a common person. Imagine a person in a village, or imagine a person even in a urban center like Delhi. So the biggest challenge is the lack of awareness and lack of knowledge. And when I say lack of knowledge, I don't mean the information you get from Google. Okay, I don't mean the information you get from multiple nutrition influencers. I don't mean the information you get from all the celebrities who suddenly become nutrition experts. I mean correct information, correct knowledge, etc. Right. So that to me is the single biggest reason. Either there's a complete lack of awareness, or there's a lack of, or there is an information overload, or I would say data overload, which is not giving you the right kind of information. So that's the first one. I think the second issue is like you were saying right in the beginning. We do believe, and if I go to any state in India and ask them, which state has the most nutritious food, they're going to say my state. All of us fundamentally believe that their state or the cuisine that is made in their houses is the most nutritious, which is this whole a little bit of a head in the sand approach, that you don't want to look at the reality. Are you still able to climb that step of stairs that you were able to do very easily 1 year back? Okay, or if you're not able to do, then you say that because I'm getting old, I'm probably not able to do that. That's not true. That may be true, that may not be true as well. Is your family falling ill too often? Okay, it basically means that your immunity levels have come down. So whether you are asking the right questions, whether you are getting the right source of knowledge, whether you have the right source of knowledge, and even if you have the right source of knowledge, are you acting on it? So it is this very simple ask, know, and act approach, which I think we need to follow. I think one very genuine concern, which again what it was raised in this very same conference also, is safety of nutraceutical products, or safety of any kind of supplement which I'm having. I think that is definitely a very, very genuine issue. And I think again, if I break safety into three very quick parts, one is whether every single supplement which is out there in the market, is it following all the regulatory guidelines which have been laid out. See, at the heart of it, no manufacturer wants to flout clear guidelines. Okay, no, none. So every single supplement which you are taking, or which you may be taking, the manufacturers don't want to want. But it is possible that sometimes the regulation may be a little bit vague. Okay, may not be clear, and hence that regulation becomes a challenge in the safety. The second thing, whether your formulation is right, whether what you are eating is really required by your body. And for that, I think simple basic medical checkups are definitely required, just to understand what it is that you are lacking in and all. Then the third part, of course, is quality. I think again somebody spoke about quality. I think it is critical for the industry, and this is where the industry has to really up its game. It's critical for the industry to step up its game on quality. Adopt standards of quality which the global companies follow. Adopt standards of quality which you would want if you are eating something, or if your family is eating something from the product that you're making. So I think there is definitely a step up required over there. So I think that constitutes the whole safety aspect, which is whether everybody's following regulations, whether the regulations are clear, whether they're being properly implemented everywhere. A second aspect is whether the formulation you have is correct, is right for your body. And the third point on quality itself, which is, and there is definitely a challenge on spurious products, as it is with every other product in India. Even the water we are having, we don't know whether it's spurious or adulterated or not. So I think that constitutes some of the issues.
So Sandeep, asking like a local Indian, how to break the myths or how to increase the awareness. Like you said, maybe there's an information overload also. So what is the industry doing about
Yeah.
it, and what is the government doing about it?
Yeah, I think I'll talk from the industry perspective first. I think it's a duty as an industry to ensure that we are giving people the right kind of knowledge or the right kind of information. However, the entire chain does not start with that. The entire chain starts with asking the right questions. Like it is said, like one of the big brands had in its advertisement commercial a while back. Ask. The first step is ask. Getting consumers to ask questions. If your family is falling ill too often, okay, if you are not able to finish your work day in the office, and you're falling tired by 3 p.m. or by 4 p.m, if you're not able to do simple tasks which you earlier were able to do. You know, just get those basic symptoms, okay, and then ask yourself, why is this happening? Yeah, either the most easy source, not easy, but the most reliable source of information on this is to just go to your general practitioner, whoever your family doctor is, your family physician is, but at least ask. So the first thing that we are trying to that we at Bayer also are trying to get the consumers to do is to ask the question, ask the question itself. Then comes the source of information, which is getting them to know the right things, or getting the whole knowledge imparted. And there, I think it's critical for us to tell them that where will they be able to get this information from. So if I am asking you to act on something, I need to provide you with the tools, right, to act. So giving consumers the right source of information, whether it is from the product sites, whether it is through some other source of awareness, getting that right is the other critical part, which is to give consumers the right kind of knowledge and the right kind of information. So industry needs to be extremely transparent. Producers of products need to be very transparent in terms of whatever their source of awareness are. So I think one of the good steps which was taken by the government was to put the QR code, for example, on some of the products. I think the industry should proactively put QR codes on all their products if possible, and give the consumers the right kind of information on what they are eating, what is in this particular product, when is it supposed to be eaten, what is the kind of dosage. If that QR code can, your label is very limited. How much information will you put on the label? But using these kind of tools, these kind of digital tools, is going to help. I think the third part is like I was giving you the model, is action. How do you get the consumers to act? So often we've seen that, and this is true especially for the underserved for slightly underserved consumers or the lower income consumers, that sometimes these products are not accessible to them, either in terms of simple physical availability or the affordability of these products. So even if I ask the right questions, even if I get to know that this is what I'm supposed to do, I may not have access to those products, either through affordability or through the simple physical presence, availability of the products per se. So I think that's the third part, which where the industry can actually step in and ensure that accessibility is increased, can be simply increased by enhancing your distribution channel. You may not have to do anything other than ensure that the product reaches all those parts. But I think these three points of ask, no, act is where the industry can actually help a lot. I think we at Bayer, we started a new mission which is called One Nation 100% Nutrition. I see ASOCHAM has Bharat at 100. So the whole point of ensuring that we are one nation, every single person should be at 100% of the nutrition. So raising awareness of this kind of a cause, the importance of nutrition, how do you get to nutrition? I think that's really the big step. And eventually, when you adopt any nutraceutical or any supplement in your daily diet, it will need you to make certain changes in your behavior. Behavior change is a very, very long drawn out process, especially in a country like India, where you are used to eating breakfast, certain thing you're used to eating, certain thing you're used to doing. Now I'm asking you that, do you have to add one more thing in your diet? Now that takes time, and that takes persistent commitment from person who's telling you to do it, which is could be your GP, could be your own self, and it also takes a commitment from the person who's actually doing it. So what we are doing through this whole One Nation 100% Nutrition is that we're asking consumers to take a pledge that at least for the next 28 days you adopt this healthy habit of taking the right nutraceutical for you or taking the right supplement for you in your diet. Just incorporate that for 4 weeks. Okay, if you don't see any changes, please stop, or please go back to your doctor, but start the whole thing. I think the most difficult part here is this action, is to take that first step, essentially. So that's what we are pushing for.
So urban is one aspect, right? Rural is a different ball game altogether. A lot of researches that we also conduct, they will say, okay, metro cities kar lo, travel easy padega. But then the distribution channel in the rural sector, like today also we heard, a guy in a village, उसको पता ही नहीं है वो सही product खा रहा है नहीं खा रहा है. How do you reach the last mile? How do you reach the 100% nutrition India? Or how should I put it? Well and healthy 100% India.
No, absolutely. I think that is the biggest challenge, and I think you cannot, we cannot go for all 140 in one go. We cannot go for all 140 crore in one go. It has to be done in phases. And while rural India definitely has the most number of underserved consumers, but even in our urban centers, even in tier two cities, even if you leave aside the six metros or the eight metros, whatever you want to call it, aside of that also tier two, tier three, tier four, the small town India, okay, there also you have similar challenges as you have in rural India, which is lack of media access, lack of physical access, lack of infrastructure. So all the challenges are very similar to rural India itself. I think what has helped, and here I'll the government has, by the way, you asked me a question on the government initiatives also. Government has taken many initiatives around nutrition, but one big initiative which the government has taken, which is not around nutrition but it has helped nutrition, is the whole infrastructure push that the government, the kind of roads that we now see in interiors of India, the kind of highways that have been built, which are reducing the time connectivity between the cities and the villages, that itself has helped a lot. Yeah. So I think the first challenge is to do it in try and do it in phases. It's it. So the first phase, for example, could simply be to identify the most vulnerable part of the population. Who are the most vulnerable part of the Indian population who need supplementation the first? It'll have to be the women. So women's health needs to be, it has been prioritized, but it needs to be further prioritized. And we have to say that, look, this is the segment, okay, where the right nutrition is not only helping the mother, it is also helping the child, right? And if the child is underdeveloped from the beginning, then the whole perpetual cycle of underdevelopment leading to poverty, I mean, that cycle just doesn't get broken. So I think the focus, and like I said, we can't do all 140 maybe in one go, but the focus has to be mother and child, and that's where we need to take the first initiatives in semi-urban India, in rural India, etc. And again, you're right. I think physical access, the industry has to push for. How do you ensure that your products are available to that particular consumer? How do you ensure that your products are affordable for the consumer? And again, we have made a small initiative over there. We've started something called the Nutrient Gap Initiative, where basically we are going to rural India. We are currently doing a pilot in parts of UP and in parts of Karnataka, where we are covering about 70,000 consumers. And what we are doing actually is we are going to them and we are first taking insights about their dietary habits and then trying to identify, okay, what are the gaps basis their dietary habit, what are the gaps in their nutritional needs. Then we are using those insights to create content, to create the right kind of, and just go back to that act no, ask no act. This is the no part. So we are using these insights then to create the right kind of content. And then we are taking this content and then working with a lot of the healthcare workers in rural. So we are working with an NGO. The healthcare workers, we are training them with this content, and then we are going back to these consumers. So taking insights from them, we're not having a one size fits all approach that you create content for metros and then you roll it out everywhere else. We're actually going to these specific communities. So we've divided it in the entire parts of UP and Karnataka into communities, 70 communities. We're going to taking insights, creating content, training the healthcare workers, and then going back to these consumers to tell them that, look, this is what your nutrition needs are, and this is what you need to add to it. So it's, like I said, it's a small step, but you have to start somewhere. I think we need maybe hundreds of such steps basically to get to a goal. But the first thing is, like you said, it is critical for us to at least address the problem and acknowledge the problem and say that we have to get all 140 billion, all 140 crore Indians nutritious, 100% nutritious.
So some years back, when this health fad started coming into play and gyms sprouted up, whey proteins and all those products started coming in from abroad, etc., etc. People started making in India, and then it came to light that it's not even whey; it's something else only, milk powder which is mixed with a little bit of protein and just sold. Now, how important is labeling compliances in the field of nutraceuticals?
I think again, like I was saying, because it falls straight into that bracket of no, the knowledge part. It's, I think, a body like Assocham, okay, can do a lot of work over here. It can take learnings from rest of the world, for example, okay, what they are doing in terms of regulations, and it can be the voice of industry. It already is, but maybe it can do more. It can be this voice of industry, okay, and take best case examples from rest of the world, and work with the government of India to sort of redefine some of the regulations, to remove some of the vagueness in the regulations. And there is a lot, and I think one of the gentlemen was talking about it, that there is a lot of lack of clarity in terms of some of these. See, what will work for the industry? What will work for the industry is if there is clarity, okay, and there is consistency. Okay, if the regulations are clear, okay, you may need one or two more, that is fine, but at least if there are two or three which are 100% clear to everyone, and they are applied 100% consistently to everyone, at least you made a very big step from where we are currently, right? I think right now that is also a challenge, that sometimes it is left open to interpretation, okay, and which is where you then fall into the trap of not following the right regulations, not following compliances, etc., and then finally that creates that. And again, labeling is critical to get it right, especially for rural India and some semi-urban India. Remember, it is our only form of communication to that consumer, assuming that that consumer is educated, assuming that he or she can read my label. Okay, it's my only form of communication, essentially. Of course, now WhatsApp has reached everywhere, so yeah, WhatsApp is the other form of communication. But otherwise, label is really, really critical. And I think we need to look at a lot of labeling innovations. I just spoke about the QR code. Okay, I think we really need to adopt some of these. I mean, the industry needs to adopt, and the industry needs to probably, work with the government of India to get them, make them a little bit more wide stream so that everybody is aware of it. Right now, what is happening is that one or two companies may do it, or they may, do it as a novelty factor, and that's it, and nobody gets to know about it. If the entire industry gets to know about these quick innovations from labeling, it is going to benefit everyone, including the industry, and most importantly, all the consumers, etc. So I think uh, some of the labeling innovations we need to apply, we need to apply and adopt, and like I said, consistency in regulations and compliances is probably would be the key word for me over here.
So surprisingly, there's no HS code. Just today I came to know about it. So how far are we behind, other countries in terms of compliances, labeling? Because if we are looking at, growing the industry, then we should be looking at, a lot of exports also.
So, look, I have very limited experience. I think there are many experts here who can answer this question much better than me. But I'll tell you my very limited perspective. I don't think we are very far behind, honestly. I think if you had asked me this question maybe 5 years ago, I would have said we are way behind. Okay, but I don't think we are very far behind. I think what we need to do more of is to identify some of these best practice countries, essentially. I think so I'll give you an example over here. So we keep looking at, a lot of time we keep looking at EMA or European Union, or Japan, which is one of the most regulated markets in the. I think it's the conditions are so different between a European Union and in India, or a Japan and in India, that sometimes it is very difficult to get it down. I think if you look at some developing countries which have done wonderful work here, I would give the example of a Philippines and a Thailand. I would give the example of a Mexico, which has done a wonderful job in regulatory compliance, or a Brazil also. I think it's important for us to identify the right set of countries, which are developing countries, and maybe learn from them. Okay, and we can, I'm sure we can also give them a lot of our own learnings and share our own learnings. So I think that would be for me the biggest step to take, would be to take learnings from outside, look a little outside and see what is happening outside. We've been working, or we've been thinking about it for a very long time. I think now is the time for us to press the accelerator, and that can only happen if you put some timelines to it. That, look, in the next 6 months or in the next 1 year, I'm going to be able to do it and all. So looking at the right source of learnings, and putting a timeline, or some milestones that by this time we'll be able to finish this, would be the next 2 steps for me going forward.
Thanks, Sandeep, for answering all my questions. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for these eminent speakers for this engaging discussion. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you so much. And now let's gear up for our upcoming technical session. We'll quickly set the stage, prepare the stage for the same. And we'll start the technical session in next 2 minutes. You can use it as a quick washroom break if you wish to. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming on stage our eminent panelist. We have with us our session chair, Dr. Meenakshi Singh, Member Secretary, Task Force on Nutraceutical Sector and Chief Scientist, Technology Management Directorate, Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, Ministry of Science and Technology, Government of India. Can we all please welcome Dr. Meenakshi Singh on stage, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am. I now invite Ms. Varsha Mishra, Deputy Director, National Accreditation Board for Certification Bodies, Quality Council of India. A hearty welcome to you, ma'am. Ma'am, you may please be seated. Kindly keep the applause going as I now invite session moderator, Mr. Alvin Samuel, Vice President, TechSci Research. Our esteemed speakers, Mr. Akshat Khandelwal, Founder and CEO, New Flower Foods and Nutrition Private Limited. Can we have a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, as they join me on stage? Dr. Lal Hingorani, Chairman, Chef Excel. Mr. Pradeep Kundu, Chief Quality Officer, Zion Life Sciences Limited. Dr. Narendra Deo Tripathi, AVP Quality and Regulatory Affairs, BACFO Pharmaceuticals India Limited. Once again, a very warm and hearty welcome to all the distinguished dignitaries present on the stage. Thank you very much. I now invite Mr. Sandeep Jain, Director SHM, to please officially welcome Dr. Meenakshi Singh with a bouquet. Mr. Sandeep Jain to please welcome Dr. Meenakshi Singh with a bouquet and a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for gracing this event with your presence, ma'am. Thank you for valuable time. Thank you so much. And I now request Dr. Lal Hingorani, Chairman, Chef Excel, to felicitate Dr. Meenakshi Singh by presenting a shawl. Once again, a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. And now, it is indeed an honor to invite on the dais Dr. Meenakshi Singh to address the gathering. Can we all please welcome her on with a round of applause?
At the outset, very good afternoon to everyone. And this is really my privilege to be here, and I really appreciate the efforts made by the Chef Excel to include me in this important session related to nutraceuticals. Of course, the program, I find it, this is very much focused, and morning session I could not attend it. As you're aware that nutraceutical task force, where I am the member secretary, this was established in 2 years back when Dr. Vijay Raghavan was the principal scientific advisor to Government of India. So some part of industry, actually they have approached to him and to sort out some of the policies issues which are faced by the nutraceutical industries, and to increase the export at the tune of $100, something like that. So this task force, PSA offices approached to CSIR to coordinate and have the coordination power at CSIR. So because of CSIR expertise, PSA office has approached, and this nutraceutical task force has been established with involvement of some of the top leaders in the nutraceutical industries, and with relevant ministries who can really contribute in the nutraceutical task force related issues, where like maybe policies, maybe where we can have some of the facilitation in the export related to standards. So we have constituted the task force group involving all these five industries, and even 4 5 government departments where they can contribute. Initially we didn't know, and we have included the Department of Pharma also in this, but Department of Pharma, they said that we cannot contribute, because nutraceutical is a separate, you know, issue that need to be dealt by the maybe Ministry of Food Processing, maybe FSSAI. So they said no, we cannot continue more. So in one meeting I think they have participated, and thereafter they have discontinued. So during the period, actually, lot of progress has happened, and we have come across, you know, many other stakeholders, and with the help of Chef Excel, we have included several, you know, stakeholders presently to deal with the current challenges faced by the nutraceutical industries. So, like recently, we have included the DPIIT, which is directly, you know, many policy issues they are involved, and even the CBIC, they are involved in the HSN code and so on. And where Chef Excel also has made lot of progress, and now with the help of Ministry of Commerce, Department of Commerce, Chef Excel is able to, you know, establish the panel to set up the HSN code with the help of relevant ministry and department. So with lot of constant, I think, communication is happening, we are able to see some progress in some of the things like HSN code. I think maybe in future we are able to get it. But again, in recent meeting with PSA, we have come up, you know, one of the member in the task force, they have said that quality is a biggest issue in the nutraceuticals. Of course, they are the natural products. We say they are the natural products, but natural products again, they are having lot of safety issues. First thing, quality issues. Second thing, dosages, because their dosages need to be fixed when they are consumed by anybody. So quality, when we see that, you know, label, like recently just I was saying that label is very important. And quality, like, you know, now many importing countries from India, they say ETO issues, and they are very much, you know, particular about the quality of the product, where India is still has to make, you know, lot of studies in this area, which we really don't have. And with the help of industry, some, I think some industry, they have to come together to get some of the, you know, studies done on the 3000, like morning Dr. Nesari was mentioning, we have lot of medicinal plants, so around 3500 plants are there. On those extract, we need to do the safety studies so that we will have the, you know, exports. So labeling is one of the important issues. I will not take much time, but when I was in FSSAI, we have also, you know, drafted one of the R&D scheme, because this nutraceutical, as we know that it is without FSSAI license, no industry can sell the products in the area of nutraceuticals. So R&D scheme they have, only industry have to come up exactly what they want and where they need this kind of studies. So some kind of funding is there, but industry has to come up and they have to approach the uh, relevant bodies for that. Otherwise they have to fund on their own to export their areas. So with these words, I think I'll not take, but quality is the very important thing. We have to create the data. We say we are doing lot of studies, but if we ask in FSSAI to fix any standards, substantial data, safety data, we don't have for anything. So I can say that we have to create lot of data, and Chef Excel is also working towards that. So without data, fixing the standards, and for taking the, for export purpose, for these kind of products is a main issue. So all industries, I ask the industries to, you know, come up with some of kind of mechanism, some kind of strategy. Maybe association can also help them, and they can, with the help of the government, they can come up, because schemes are available, only you have to approach some kind of partial funding maybe from the government, a small kind of funding, and along with industry they can come up some of the plan. And because when we take up these quality issues, then definitely some kind of innovation also come into the product. So with these words I just end my talk, and I will request other dignitaries over here to uh, express their points. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. With due respect, I now invite on the dais Ms. Varsha Misra to render a special address.
Thank you, and good morning to everybody. Uh, Without taking much time, I'm very happy that today we have a forum wherein we saw people who talk about not only nutraceuticals, their nutrition part, their health, their pattern, their requirement, but also, as Ma'am said, the compliance factor, as Sandeep ji said, compliance, quality, safety. So, just to give an idea why and how we think about this roadmap in India, it is always important to know that what is the structure which is prevalent in your country. And I must be sure, like the people who are expert in the dais as well as our audience, how many of you are very much aware with the system which is existing in India? Can somebody tell me, are you aware of the systems which is existing in India? How many regulators, how many accreditation bodies, how many certifications body, who are the regulators? Can somebody tell me, please? And make this session very interactive, because I have a very short presentation wherein I just wanted to give you a glimpse, wherein I want to show you what is the structure which is prevailing in India when I talk about the nutraceutical. Can somebody please? Somebody, anybody, because I want somebody to tell something so that I can start my PPT without taking much time. Okay, so I'll have to start. This is simply, and I will start with the accreditation. Accreditation is something which is a highest degree, but I will not start with the accreditation, but but I'll start with the compliance itself. So everybody knows this, but just to set the context, I will start with the definition. What is nutraceutical? So nutraceutical, it is well defined by Dr. Stephen long ago, and we are only aware about this word 10 year back, and we not 10 year back, but it's actually everybody start talking about it. Nutraceutical, कुछ अलग से और चाहिए, कुछ हमें लग रहा है कुछ कमी है बॉडी में, कुछ वीकनेस लग रही है, प्रोटीन चाहिए, आयरन चाहिए. जो अभी आयरन डेफिशिएंट की हम बात करते हैं, लाइक डॉक्टर संदीप सेड, हमारे रूम में जो लेडीज हैं उनमें से जितने भी हैं 2 लोग उनमें से आउट ऑफ 10 इज न्यूट्रिशन डिफिशिएंट इन टर्म्स ऑफ आयरन. व्हाई दिस सो? because of awareness. We know and we start talking about, and we are very much aware कि हम खा क्या रहे हैं. So awareness is somewhere lack. Actually आप ये बताइए, कैन समबडी, आई विल टेक इट वेरी नॉर्मल डिस्कशन इंस्टेड ऑफ टेक्निकल. आपको पता है आप अपने खाने में क्या खा रहे हैं, और आज से 10 साल पहले जब आप खाते थे, अपना नाश्ता करते थे या ब्रेकफास्ट एट द डिनर टेबल, डू यू नो व्हाट यू आर ईटिंग? सिर्फ हमें पता होता था कि दाल चावल सब्जी रोटी, जो हमारा स्टैंडर्ड प्रैक्टिस है. बट नाउ हाउ मच कैलोरीज वी आर टेकिंग, हाउ मच प्रोटीन वी आर टेकिंग, वेदर अवर डाइट इज हैविंग फाइबर, नहीं है तो फिर that extra supplement is required. So this all led due to this nutrition point which comes along with the pharmaceutical, and when this nutrition is bind with pharmaceutical, the new term is coined as a nutraceutical. And definitely will thank to Dr. Stephen, which has come up, but now to everybody's awareness, because of which we know what is nutraceutical. This is industry scenario, so everybody knows the market is growing, and our expectation by 2030 is $650 billion. Global nutraceutical market is obviously, it is directly proportional, increasing more, and CAGR report says that 5.1% growth in 2024-2030. and MV, everybody knows, everybody is using, सबके घरों में एक डब्बा कुछ ना कुछ होगा MV का. So this shows that कि MV का nutrition सबके वहाँ जा रहा है, and everybody knows about nutrition. So what are the nutritional market driving forces? So मैंने कुछ आपको बताया, but simply these are the important forces which actually talks and drives the nutraceutical market. So what are those factors? You can see हमारी बहुत अवेयरनेस बढ़ गई है, एंड एज पर द रिपोर्ट रिसेंटली लॉन्च्ड 60% of population in India is above 60%, and which is targeted and supposed to be grown in 2040. So I could show you. Similarly, increasing number of diseases. Benevolent diseases are more. Everybody, pandemic is one of the reason where we turned about घर की जो काढ़ा होता था सबको पता था, बट जब पेंडेमिक में पता चला कि तुलसी मुलेठी ये चीज़ें फ़ायदा कर रही हैं, सो अदर टर्म हैज़ बीन कॉइंड. सो डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ डिजीजेज आर देयर. कंज्यूमर की अवेयरनेस, एवरीबडी इज अवेयर कि उसको चाहिए क्या. सो दिस इज ऑल्सो वन ऑफ द ड्राइविंग फोर्स. Population is high, overall educational level is increasing, preferences for the personalized nutrition is increasing, definitely, and also the mentality for the disease prevention. Everybody is proactive and everybody is talking about the preventive measures. So these all are the driving forces for the nutraceutical market. Nobody is I don't need to tell those are names. So Danone, DSM, Amway, so these are the key companies. Now comes to accreditation. Why I am talking about accreditation? Accreditation is something which is where it is actually in the quality fora that will come in the latter. But just to give you an definition of accreditation, what is accreditation? And can you please tell me, anybody of you can just tell me what is accreditation? Apart from the definition, I am definitely going to tell you what is accreditation in simple terminology, but it is one of the very crucial factor which is very much accepted now globally is accreditation. But what it is? Definitely people who are in the laboratory, those who are into the compliance, they must be aware of the different accreditation standards. Can anybody tell me any of the standard or what is accreditation? Anybody? I'm happy that you have come up with something. Yes, we have a standards, but standards are further, standards. ISO is the International Standard Organization. But what ISO is doing, ISO is basically framing the standards as per the requirement. But accreditation standards are different. Yes, they are into the purview of ISO. So I'll not go into those technicalities, but accreditation is basically a voluntary system. It's not enforced system, it's not like a regulatory enforcement, but accreditation is a global system for acceptance of each other competence to increase the economy. So basically what is, and if you see the standard how it defines, it is a third party attestation. So आप अच्छे हैं, आपको पता है, आपको कोई और कह रहा है सेकंड पार्टी है, और आप दोनों को कोई अच्छा कह रहा है थर्ड, दैट इज अ थर्ड पार्टी. So basically आप accreditation को समझना चाहते हैं तो the easiest way to understand accreditation is it is a third party attestation. And nowadays self attestation is very easy. I am the best, and somebody has come, certification body, उसने आपको कहा no you are the best, and on what basis I am telling you are best? On certain standards. फिर आपको उसने एक मार्क दिया, वो मार्क को हमने कहा नो दिस इज accreditation accredited certification body. For global leaders ने कहा no they are the certified but they are accredited certified. So they have accepted. I'm very happy when Dr. Sandeep said it is something a compliance in the nutrition. So compliance ultimately goes to the safety. And how this compliance will come? It's very easy word to say the compliance. हमारा food safe नहीं है, हमारा food quality नहीं है. But how this quality? Quality is not something water in a glass we can drink it. It is something through the steps. But what are those steps? What are the criteria through which this quality will come is more important. So we need to understand, and for that awareness is very important. So accreditation is nothing but it's a third party attestation. Yes, but these all definitions are through standards. I cannot go beyond that. So 17,000 defines that. Conformity assessment, do you know what is conformity assessment? Because you can see the topic of today, it is a roadmap to compliances, certifications and regulation, and all this, if you combine all three words, it means accreditation. So the easiest definition for accreditation is today's topic, compliances, certification, and regulation. If you combine all, the term which will come and which is accepted globally is accreditation. Yes, the difference between regulation and accreditation is totally voluntary. Yes, it can be made mandatory if regulator make it mandatory through notification or through gadget notification or through their mechanism or whatever the third party TP is. So I will let you know like how few of the ministries have done it. So this is accreditation is a model to assure compliances. So FSSI is the one, they are the regulator. So they have done a lot many things in terms of accreditation, and they have given a lot much leeway to accreditation. And I must tell you, this is a standard gadget notification which is produced by FSSI, and this is the Food Safety and Standard Authority. Everybody knows. So, in the morning we have a CEO FSSI with us. So FSSI has a produce third party auditing regulations in their system, through which NABCB is the one body under which any certification body, if they are accredited with NABCB, they can do the licensing, they can directly do the third party inspection of FSSI. So this much leeway this regulator has given to accreditation. I have just copied, the first page of this gadget notification. If anybody is interested, they can definitely refer this gadget notification. So I have given you few of the standards just to make you sure that how accreditation standards are ensuring safety and quality. So different standards are there. So 1720 is basically talks about the inspection model. So anywhere if you talk about the inspection model, about the monitoring hygiene level and unsafe food for inspection, so 17020 talks about that. And if you talk about 6565 is basically for the product safety. So if you want to check the supply chain, and it could be of any supply chain, maybe diverse like foods, establish the conformity to the local and the intellectual schemes. So intellectual schemes means any scheme. It could be Ayush mark, it could be any scheme which is a GFSI benchmarked scheme. So that can be under the purview of 17065. Similarly, there is an ISO standard 15189 which is also under the purview of accredited scheme. There are environmental scheme, there are personal, even the food analyst are being exam you need to clarify in FSSI. So that also is abide by the standard which is 17024. So accreditation standard also applies on the employees and the employers if they want to check the personal certification. So these are the factors which drive the nutraceutical market. This is cultural embrace of the holistic health. It is well said by our previous speakers, changing lifestyle and dietary plans, obviously. And these are the fundamental of the regulatory compliances. Everybody knows, we talk on the top, you can say it is the food product regulatory requirement which is changing. Yes, the role of government agencies are changing. Yes, and importance of the regulatory compliance, we cannot deny this. And this is a landscape in India, and this is very important for everybody who is preparing and who is either of the ways connected with the nutraceutical companies. So food safety is the authority, it is a regulator, Ministry of Food Processing, and EIC is one of the export authority which is also one of the regulator. And I think everybody is aware because they are basically into the notified commodities, marine products, black pepper and all. So they are basically regulator, and they are the ministries which is involved with the regulatory landscape in India. Other bodies which also comes in the regulatory framework for the nutraceutical in the India is APIDA, Export Council. I already told you. BIS, everybody knows, they are the national standard body. NABCB, where I work, and NABL, which is again the same board as NABCB is, but NABCB and NABL, we both are under the umbrella of QCI. I will tell you in the next slide. So these are the challenges and the risk in the regulatory compliance of the nutraceutical. So you can say why we are telling it is tough, because it is complex regulatory procedure. I told you many regulators are there. So where you have to go for what product? So first of all, the knowledge, the awareness for your product is very important. So you must be a scientist for your product. That it means that. Then risk of non-compliance. When we talk about the compliant doesn't mean it need to be tested somewhere and laboratory must be NABL. That only doesn't mean it is compliant. There are other factors, dosing, non-dosing. Then there are so many factors which is linked. Then obviously we cannot See, this is not important, this is very important. That is the compliance cost. Nobody can talk about anything without the cost factor. This is something a roadmap ahead in terms of the technology, in terms of the standards which we are using in India. So compliance and the standardization is one thing. If we think about it, so complex regulatory underscores the importance of compliance for nutraceuticals manufacturers, and that is very important. Similarly, this harmonization effect, so we need to harmonize with the standards body, we need to harmonize with the laboratories, we need to harmonize with not only laboratories but conformity assessment body as well as the certification body. This is very important slide. Rather than understanding all the slide, I must request everybody who is sitting in the hall to understand this international ecosystem of quality. Whenever you talk about the quality, please try to understand where you are. Either you are into the extreme right, or you are into the extreme left, or you are in the center. But wherever you are, you just see you are abide by the standard. And when you are abide by the standard, you can see the standards are applicable on the product in the extreme right. It may be a product which may be a agriculture produce, it may be a car, it may be a plastic, it may be engineering product, but everywhere testing is involved, national and international standards are required. But if international and national standard required, why I will accept? I will accept only because if they are standardized with harmonized practices, which is adopted internationally through ISO, IC, Codex, and all. So this is the mechanism. Similarly, if your product is certified, so it means it is certified under certain standards. You can see my slide shows a box. After that, there is an arrow, ISO 9001, 14000, HACCP, CE, everything. ठीक है, हमने करवा लिया. But who will ensure this certification? Yes, if it is certified, go up. See, it is accredited certification or not. Yes, if it is accredited, then which standard it applies. So it may be 2-1, it may be 6-5. Okay, fine, it is accredited. हम कह रहे हैं कि हमने accreditation दे दिया. अब उस accreditation body को कौन देखेगा? So it is all system. So accreditation body need to be recognized by IF and ILAC. So being an accreditation body, NABCB is having a harmonization and recognition with ILAC, IF, ISO, IC. So do you understand this? So I think this is a very simple but very complicated. Only you need to understand where you stand, what is your system, what standards, and wherever you are going to get harmonization, which international harmonization system or ecosystem you falls into. So I talk about the international ecosystem of quality. This is ecosystem of accreditation India. So I am in QCI. QCI has been formed by different government of India's association bodies, CII, FICCI. It is an independent autonomous body, but our chairman of QCI is appointed by Honorable Prime Minister of India. And we have mandated work. So our mandate is to provide the quality framework and accreditation framework in India, provide right and unbiased information, represent India's interest, help establishing the quality protocol and services in India. This is our structure. Like we have a council, governing body, secretary general who sits like NABCB, and we have a big secretariat, and under which we have a 4 accreditation board. NABCB is basically for the certification body, NABL wherever the lab is, NABH wherever the hospitals are. So hospital has been accredited by National Accreditation Board for Hospital. Then NABET is for all the education institutions. NBQP is for the quality promotion. Then we have a special training and capacity building cell. So wherever the training, anybody of you are free to contact the TCB cell for any standards you want to get trained. Then we have a special project groups, that is PPID, for any like government of, we are advisory to Ministry of different ministries, like Government of India, we are advisory body. So any of the project, if any ministry wants, so we do it through PPID, which means Project Planning and Implementation Division. Then we have a Z. Z is basically zero effect and zero defect. Then we have a PAD division. So this is our structure. So now I'm specific with the NABCB. So we have a different standards. You could see in this slide different standard. Just a gist I will give you. We have issued more than 20,000 accredited certificate. We have more than 1 lakhs of inspection reports, and it's a time constraint, so I will run a bit fast. This is number of because I am here for the nutraceuticals, so I will pertain and limit my points to the food sector. So you could see the different management systems are applicable to the nutraceutical, and these are the different numbers which show how many accreditation we have been provided to the different management system in the food sector. This is our international equivalence. So we are with APEC, we are with the IF, we are with the ILEC. And what are the benefits of it? So benefit, you can read the last three bullets: international equivalence, assurance of quality, facilitate trade. This is our system. We have multilateral agreements between the ILEC and IF. So I will skip this. This is just a system which we follow. You can this slide is important because you will understand we fall in Asia Pacific Accreditation Cooperation because we are in Asia. Similar status is with the European government. Europe has also the same system, and other inter-American accreditation cooperation countries also follow the same system as we do. This is in India, NABCB and NABL make the accreditation, under which the conformity assessment bodies like TUV, SGS, Intertech, they all will come, and they will provide certificate to the product and services. These are the international agencies which rely on accreditation. So FDA, WTO, the WHO, MAF, Food Standard Agency of UK, and BRC, Netherlands, they all rely on accreditation, and they have a several different recognition systems, and they have a different regulations through which they rely on accreditation. In India, you can see the first two lines where all the ministries rely on accreditation by either of the way, either through gazette notification or the system or the standards or the scheme. They talk about the accreditation, and they only believe in accredited CBs. And the last line, you can see the all MNCs and regulators, how they rely on accreditation in India. They are the food scheme owners, so they also rely on us. So this accreditation is a tool for the assurance, and these are the benefits through which, and anybody of you if interested, you can see the two website I have given. So anything you want to understand more of the quality and accreditation, please go through these websites. And this is something a joy for everybody in India, that we stand on the 5th position in accreditation throughout the globe from the last 2 years. So we are constantly on the 5th position in the Indian accreditation system in the world. This is all about, and you are most welcome for any question, and I have to limit, I'm sorry, and thank you so much for patience hearing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I now hand over the session to session moderator, Mr. Samuel, for further proceedings.
Hello. Yeah, it's working. So I'm back to pick some more brains, people who are sitting on the dais right now. So I'll ask certain questions and let's see. So basically, we'll focus today on innovations, quality, regulations in the nutraceutical industry. I'll not waste too much of time. I'll start by asking questions. So start with Akshat, you.
Is this? It's working. Yeah, great.
So what are you seeing as the most exciting trends in the nutraceutical industry right now?
See, right now, my answer would be a little different. I think that the most exciting trends are yet to come. And the reason why I say that is because I think the nutraceutical industry for too long has focused on micronutrient deficiencies. So we are always talking about how we don't have enough vitamins, how we don't have enough minerals, calcium, iron, etc., etc. But what we don't talk about more is the macronutrient mismatch, right? We don't talk about the fact that in India and the world over, you've got obesity, diabetes, and cardiovascular issues. You've got malnutrition as well. And these are diseases, non communicable diseases, that frankly don't have any answer in the pharmaceutical industry. Even though I know that there are these weight loss pills that are coming now, I don't think they'll be very successful, but that's a separate conversation. So, my view is that the most exciting trend that should be there in the nutraceutical industry are foods that fix the excessive sugar and carbohydrate problem in all our diets. So if you look at our diets, whether they are the diets that we eat at home, the poha, the aloo ki sabji, the roti, paratha, or you look at the processed food, it's full of carbs, carbohydrates, right? Full of sugar, full of maltodextrin, right? We need foods that are very high in protein, and we need foods that are very high in healthy fats. And the moment we get the low carb formula right, a lot of the non communicable diseases, which in my opinion are responsible for a lot of mortality out there, a lot of them will fix itself. And India, we already have, I think, the second highest number of diabetics in the world, maybe after China. I think it's about 75 million. And malnutrition, obviously a third of our children are malnourished, and we make products already for malnutrition. So that's what I would say. I would say that the most exciting nutraceutical trend would be the ones that fix the macronutrient mismatch.
So you, as the CEO of New Flower, where do you see yourself contributing to the development of the industry?
Yeah, well, thank you for that question. That's a very, I would love to answer that question because that's what our strategy is based on. So, what we want to do in the next 5 years is get the macronutrient fix, right? So, we want to make processed snacks, healthy snacks from oil seeds like peanut, cashew, almond, from lentils, millets. We want to be a part of the millet mission that the Honorable Prime Minister is talking about. We want to use pulses. We want to use all of these plant based ingredients, and we want to make processed foods out of them that go on to the snack bar, the breakfast table, and the doctor's desk, right? And we feel in doing so, we are going to be replacing a lot of what's already out there, which is basically carbohydrates and maltodextrin, if I were to put it in one line. So our entire product strategy going forward for the next 5 years is based on this promise that there is a serious problem of diabetes, obesity, and malnutrition, and we need healthy fats and healthy proteins to deal with it.
So considering the regulatory landscape which is currently, how are you navigating the challenges?
So that is definitely the key question. So what we try to do is, I think I mean, we're not navigating it extremely well, so hence the hesitancy on my part. What I was saying is that I think what we try to do is whenever we do something new, when it comes to the messaging of the product, we try to engage the FSSAI in extended conversations, and we usually land at a mutually desirable milestone where we can get a product through and the FSSAI is fine with it. Because when you look at the regulations in FSSAI, out of I think 14, 15 categories that they have in the latest notice that they took out, I think about 6, 7, 8 months back, all out of 15, I think 13 to 14 deal with generic categories. So they'll deal with oils, they'll deal with standard generic categories, flour, etc., etc. Only one category deals with very specialized nutrition, special foods for nutritional purposes, special foods for medical purposes. So I think the way we would do it is just to get into extended conversation, because we want to make sure the products that we do, they are different, they are unique, they are healthy, and they are actually solving the very real problem of non-communicable diseases.
Twist to my question which I asked Sandeep, uh, consumer education and awareness, how will it play in nutraceutical innovations also?
Massive. So in our case, for example, we want to play a lot on the low carb message, low carbohydrate and why they are good for you. But I think in India, what tends to happen is in India and in a lot of other places, Europe, all over the world, people do not, people still think, let's say, fat makes you fat. Like if I talk to someone out there, in a mall or anywhere, people will think that ghee and butter is still somehow unhealthy for you, which is completely incorrect. Fat does not make you fat. Sugar and carbs do. Right. So I think consumer education has a big role, and we'll have to talk about things like insulin resistance. We'll have to talk about things like glycemic index, right? How if you have extremely simple carbs, sugar, maltodextrin in your product, the glucose in your blood spikes, and that causes extremely high spikes of insulin, which causes weight gain and insulin resistance, which is what diabetes is. So we'll have to talk to the consumer about this. We'll have to sort of break it up into digestible concepts and figure out a way to get the message across the consumer. But I would also say that if you look at Instagram and YouTube, if you look at the great work some of the nutritionists are doing now, and you look at a lot of the young folks out there, they actually already know all this, right? So you'd be surprised. I'm surprised sometimes when I talk to 25-year-olds. I'm a millennial. I'm a little older than that. So I'm surprised how well they know. But yes, some consumer education will have to go.
But we are still looking in terms of urban setups, right?
Yeah.
If we look at the rural India, which is huge, then how do you see consumer getting any kind of awareness or education for that
Hmm.
matter?
No, that's a very good question. I think then we'll have to adapt ourselves, right? So if in the urban setups, let's say we are talking about, if you're talking about middle classes, we might go to the malls. If you're talking about SEC C or D classes in the urban or the rural sector, we'll have to adapt ourselves. The language will have to change. The people who are doing the messaging will have to change, right? Because health is important. I think it was the country head of Bayer who said, health has to be a fundamental right for everyone, right? And I also think that the carbohydrate problem will be the most critical amongst the lower segments, because as a country we are very food secure. We are already able to make enough grains for ourselves. There's enough rice and wheat in India. What we don't have is protein security. We don't have is fat security. We import a lot of fats, edible oil, right? Palm oil from Malaysia, Indonesia, and we import a lot of protein pulses, right? And I'm not sure. So yes, I think we'll so we'll have to again break down these messages. Get to it's irrelevant where the consumer is from. We'll have to adapt ourselves to make sure we reach the right audience. So if I'm talking to X, I'll have a different way of reaching out to them. If I'm talking to Y, who comes from a different geography, I'll have a different way of reaching out to them. Does that answer?
One more question: drivers' challenges for you as a startup, or for any other startup?
Yeah, it's. I would say these challenges are the same that occur in every business. You need a lot of pain threshold, so you'll have a bad news almost every other week. If one fire, let's say in your supply chain, is fixed, then there'll be another fire in sales. If that is fixed, then there'll be another fire in quality and production. So my view would be have a relentless mindset and have a very high pain threshold. Uh, yeah, and just never give up, right? Just have a very indomitable mindset about these things is what I, whenever someone asks me about setting up something of their own, that's what I would tell them.
Thanks so much. Now, I
Thank
would
you.
like to ask some questions to Dr. Ingorani. So, what are the challenges and opportunities related to sourcing and utilizing sustainable ingredients in the nutraceutical industry?
Uh, Here, actually, in India, it's quite unregulated as yet. A lot of things are happening now, and a lot of NGOs are coming up for the uh, collection of this. A lot of governments are working on the making their states totally organic certified, uh, because it's not challenges of the raw material itself, the right raw material. I'm saying uh, that's the problem, because there are so many issues, and every day, because we are in exports. So in exports, it's a different story. Probably here people do not know also what are the things they are looking at. Like they'll be looking at pH, they'll be looking at aflatoxin, aflatoxins, and so many things which are we don't care only. Here still we are probably very few companies have their own ICP-MS to check the heavy metals. I- I'll say it will be numbered like 10 to 20 companies must be having, and nutraceutical companies who must be having this kind of facility. And they are there. And we cannot just keep our eyes closed and say, no, no, everything is fine here. Uh, because when there was a lot of hue and cry in the West, that time government of India almost spent a lot of money on, they gave it to CSR labs to go and collect the raw material and find out what's the heavy metal content in them. And they did a work and which was not published very well, and industry probably does not know. They came up with, can I, if you wash these herbs before using them, a lot of heavy metals uh, come down in that. And sometimes the processing, when the like in a ginger they process in calcium oxide, they just put in the northern region where there is no sun, they put it in a calcium oxide so it sucks the water out of that, and then they dry it, the dry powder ginger what you get it for extraction industry, and that contains a lot of heavy metals. So that comes into that, and sometimes we have seen something like 200 ppm of lead in that ginger. So here, like you must be eating that sunt in your home. You don't know what is contained in that. These kind of challenges are there. So it has to be little bit. Industry has to come out with some system where some industry takes up this for supply chain, and there is no big industry in this supply chain management of the botanicals and even the excipients also for the nutraceuticals. Excipients also play a very big role in this because excipients still we are not making that world quality excipients. GMO and all these thing testings are not done at all. It's just they are producing from a corn they'll be producing. They'll not know what kind of this one they are using, the raw material they are using, dextrins and all these things. So these problems are also there. So
So, Sajid, given your experience in the natural product space, how do you think the advancement in natural ingredients can contribute to development of nutraceutical solutions of any kind, whether it's to do with exports or to do with
look,
domestic consumption?
see, a lot of research is to be done as yet. As yet, we have not done anything on that side. And again, uh, some of the products which are, as Dr. Nesri was saying, we have something like 8,000, 3,700 edible plants and all these things. Probably we have worked on not more than 50 in the national level and international level. Something 10 or 20 are actually going very well from here. So a lot of work is to be done on that. What kind of, because still we are just looking at the phytochemicals in those botanicals. Nobody has seen the micronutrients in that, because it's a micronutrients which also play a lot of role in the health this thing system, like zinc, calcium, magnesium, chromium. As you was talking about this thing, insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is the biggest problem today. Actually, due to that, you end up diabetes is one thing, cancer, heart disease. All these things are from insulin resistance. Even the brain disease is coming from the insulin resistance. So on that, nobody has worked much on that. To what kind of products are required and what kind uh, phytochemicals or these nutrients are required in them so that you come out of that. So a lot of work is to be done as yet.
So, do you think collaboration between research institutions, industry players, government bodies can help in
Definitely.
innovations?
She's there, CSR. I've been working with the CSR a lot, CDRI, Triple IM, CMAP. All these, actually, these institutions have done a lot of work, but they are sitting on it, to tell you very frankly. When there was 75 years of CSR, they had called me to meet all the directors. All the directors were here in Delhi. I said, you all are sitting on this thing. The money which has been spent is by government. Government means public money has been spent. The all the patents are getting expired like that in your cupboards. Give it free to the industry. At least you will collect GST afterwards when they start selling. Some of the people will not give you a royalty. Okay, everywhere the 10% people are there who are thieves. So you think that 10% people will not give you royalty. You'll get some royalty at least. So that they have to come up now, open up.
So, Sarji, looking at global reach for nutraceutical market, because considering we got developed countries who are more aware and they are working towards the industry, what role can organizations like yours play in ensuring the ethical and sustainable sources of raw materials?
See, sustainability, people have started working, a lot of companies have started working here in India. And there is a, from initially, when I've been working in this segment for last 26 years now. And initially it was all coming from the forest. Now it is not that. Everybody is going for cultivation, their own cultivation. So And even there are organizations with whom we work in the government. So to train the forest, tribal people, okay, how to sustainably collect those uh, plants from the forest. So they are, and we tell them that it is for their good. Okay, they will have their next generations, and this thing they will have. And there are now some of the places I've seen, they are very much, and they own that. They know that this is ours, and they take care of it. So this is more training is required for sustainability, and companies now, and that's what I'm saying. The collecting people, that there has to be some corporate coming into that who understands this, and he does that.
So what about people like Akshat, other companies which are, how can they help?
I think he is quite young and he understands what is sustainability and all these things. Because nowadays people are aware about sustainability. They know, their next generation is going to be very much here. So if they do not protect these things, the next generation of his will not have anything.
So do you feel a lot of such forums can help increase awareness, help people sing together?
Yeah, definitely. This kind of requirement, like people get aware. Like sustainability was not heard of 5 years back, to tell you very frankly. Now it is. As I also go for this thing, we come to know uh, because we were doing, because we are in export, so they were asking how you are collecting and all these things, and we learned from some multinationals from US and Europe countries. But there are people who are just working in India. For them, some training sessions and all these things are required for this sustainability, and why it is required.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Sure.
I'll just now switch over to Pradeep.
Hello. Yeah.
So Pradeep, being as a chief quality officer, in your experience, what are the most crucial aspects of maintaining highest quality standards in production and manufacturing of nutraceutical products?
Yeah, I think today morning, all our distinguished guest that's spoken about the very important parameter, right sourcing of material that should be of high quality ingredients, which make the quality of the product right at first time. And you know that we had various challenges to get a right source of ingredients to be make a quality product, because it includes botanicals and other non-botanicals also. And because we have to provide multi these vitamins at different level doses levels, minerals at doses levels. And the FSSI is also gearing up slowly, but because this is the very we are in nutraceuticals is still in a budding or infancy stage, so a lot more has to come into regulatory point of view. So if this gets built in up, definitely the manufacturer will have lot of pressure to go to select the right kind of ingredients, that too with any kind of adulterations, so that product quality comes right at first time. And apart from that, if we are working in the manufacturing sector, the GMP practices has to follow right from the farm level to the fork level, because that is a way where the system gets developed, and procedures for product and processes are being framed, which has to be maintained by the manufacturer, which is the basic task of the manufacturer, so that the product does not get deviated with any kind of issues in the market, because that's the way the consumer looks for the product, as because basically they see that, because this is a brand of that company, it has a very high stakes, and definitely the expectations of the consumers are growing day by day. So we don't have that kind of margin to play with the product quality. So good manufacturing practices is the second most factor running in to be adopted in the manufacturing operations. Apart from that, we had also been said that testing should be very very important, because testing of the metals and vitamins to that lower to that label, which is governed by the regulatory norm, has to be met. So, and the quality control operations in the manufacturing has to be hand in hand, so that there's no flaws in that. So there's a third point is very important, testing and the quality control approaches to be followed strictly in the manufacturing area, so that that we should not deviate with the product quality as a whole. And I will say the fourth point, nutraceuticals, because we are making number of products, but still the packaging of the nutraceuticals products is still in infancy, because if you compare with the food products which is being done globally for many years, the packaging has really worked wonders to maintain the product quality till the shelf life. And still, because nutraceuticals product has a number of ingredients, because ingredients are also very high in number if I compare to any other beverages or soft drinks or juices. So the packaging component plays a very important role, which has to be done at a very what they call, the study has to be done by the packaging experts of the company, so that the product in which it has been packed, maybe a tablet, maybe a powder, a capsule, maybe a liquids, maybe a spray, that should not be get compromised. And apart from that, the storage and transportation, because nutraceuticals product, we will see it does not require a very strict transportation norms, though it is there in some other products. But again, the handling of the product, right from the manufacturing and to the stockist, distributor, it also really impacts, because India has a very diverse climatic conditions, very high heat, very high humid, very high rainfall. So again, the quality of the products gets compromised on that. So that is also one very important aspect, that transportations is also to be taken into care, so the product does not get affected at that level. Yeah, that was my viewpoint.
So what are your thoughts on evolving regulatory landscape for nutraceuticals and its impact on maintaining quality standards?
Yeah, regulatory norm point of view, I will say that, because still our regulations are still getting built up, because a lot of things has to be added over there, and still we are into this learning phase. And challenges are also there with the manufacturer, because every 4 or 6 months there are some regulations comes into place, that this content should not exceed this one, that claim which what we are giving for vitamins, minerals, it should not go beyond. And those things are there, I think. And still manufacturer, definitely we are making the product, but we are getting confused, because Indian regulations has a different norms, and the same thing, if it get exported to other countries, there the norms are again different. Again, the brainstorming been done by the R&D guys to make a product as per design. So the manufacturer, basically they have to customize the product for the country to country based on the regulation, which is really a very challenging task as of now, because if I compare with global beverage companies like Pepsi, Coke, their products are standardized globally, no issues in there. But for nutraceuticals, definitely the other countries are, because there are a lot of countries who doesn't know much about that. Their regulation might not be are very different, which basically we get challenges to comply those. And fortunately, I work for Geon. What we don't export, but our key customers like GNC, Tata, this Dr. Reddy's laboratory, we make their products for the export. So what does they do? They basically help their formulations to work on that, and then they do the export from their end. So that's the way the challenge always is there.
So Sajik, any example that you can give how your company has adopted innovative quality management practices?
Yeah, I will share that quality management practices are most important, because right from the beginning, to maintain the what do you call potency of the product as well as the food safety norms, the quality systems that has to be in place. Okay, because everybody is aware, HACCP is there, food safety management systems are there, manufacturing these operators are following those norms. But mostly, you can see that still companies are engaged with the workforce, right? So now, what we have moved into that, the old machines has been transferred into modern equipments with a very high controlled one, and where the manual interventions are less, because once the we had a more manual interventions, the process and operations gets compromised. So also, I will say that what we are doing, that even the raw materials which you are getting from the vendors, from that, if I'm getting using the same raw materials and I'm getting from two different vendors, and those raw materials, what we do as a quality systems, we had put a barcodes over there, and during the use of dispensing to make a product, those barcodes has been scanned, so we know that right which vendor this ingredients to be used, and it should be right quantity has to be used, right quantity has to be dispensed, and right quantity has to be more has to be go for the product, this production process. That kind of automation, we call it e-smart. Everything weighing is totally automatic, no manual. It's basically takes the barcode, scan the weighing balance, sends the barcode, it gives the weight which has been designed in the, it basically it measures the weight of the ingredients, and it basically gets packed for the further processing. Apart from that, I will say that all filling machines has been regulated, their speed has been controlled, and it has been monitored through SCADA system, so that there should not be any kind of variability in that, which those kind of equipments has been put in the place. So modern equipments are definitely helping a lot, and basically it gives an indications to the workforce working over in the shop floor, which we are going towards industry 4.0, where all those important parameters like CCPs, OPRPs are getting displayed on the shop floors, and people just see that, okay, so I'm on the this my process are in the limits, so my temperatures has been controlled, my weighing balances are showing me no deviations. So that kind of automations are there, which is definitely helping us to build a very robust quality systems for the product, to for the consumers.
What trends do you see in the field of QC and assurance within the nutraceutical industry going forward?
This come again.
What trends do you see now emerging in the QC process?
Yeah, I will say. Again, I will say that QC has to be the what do you call, the one of the fundamentals in the manufacturing process, because quality control is there where, yeah, the process parameters has to be checked as per specified specifications. If I design a product, if its pH, temperature, density has to be within that specifications, the quality control norms has to be followed, because that basically doesn't give you the chance to move out of the specifications, because the product has been designed based on that parameter. If those parameters are achieved, my product quality will not be compromised, and it will be giving me till its shelf life as it has been designed. Quality assurance is again a part where it is basically a bigger picture, where all integrated departments has to follow a certain set of SOPs, procedures. May it be a vendor audits, we do a right from the vendor point of view. Then at the time of receiving of the materials, storing of the materials, using the materials, making a batch from the process product batch, then testing of the finished products, then dispatching to the warehouses, and from the warehouses to the markets. So quality assurance has a bigger role, because it basically integrates all these departments along with the other cross-functional teams like product packaging development, R&D team, legal team, where everything has to be integrated, and where the quality assurance role come into picture, because that basically assures the product which is being manufactured from a manufacturer. This premises has been totally, as just been said by Mr. Varsha, that basically complies. So complies is the word which is a very broader term, but it has a very deep meaning, and it is meaning is very important and crucial, which has to be known even to for the people working in the shop floor, maybe an employee, maybe a staff, maybe a casual workers. So that's the thing where the QA as a whole, quality assurance is not a part, not a job of quality guy. It's a everyone's this responsibility. I think this is a very known proverb. Everybody has been listening from the day when they join this company, and so that's the way, Alvinji.
Right. Thank you so much. Now some questions to Dr. Tripathi.
Yes. Yes. Hello. Yeah.
Being from quality and regulatory affairs, so from a regulatory standpoint, what are the key considerations for nutraceutical companies to gain market approval for their products?
Yeah. Thanks for the question. And basically, if we see the holistic approach of FSSI, then there is a basically system that called as a fast cost. And whatever the products we are going to endorse to get the license and to get the register in the license, then definitely there is a defined system. The basic needs need to be fulfilled, and that is the basically we say somewhere we say Q and Q is required, and some we say that along with the Q and Q some time we say like a state of ingredients are required along with the references and the purity. There is a data sheet is prepared and it is uploaded along with the proper declaration, and there is a series basically comes in the numbers of the license if you have the number several license several product, and so we have to make it clear from which slot to which slot that is the newly introduced, and there is a process online payment also, and the same times you can pay the licensing fee, and then it goes to the designated officers and it gets a review, and if there is any query, so there it comes to us, and there is a significant task becomes for us to get it resolved, and if there is a requirement of any evidences, then we have to upload it, and then we have to wait the total process. If there is no query, then we got the license. However, it is they have extended with the 60 days. Otherwise, where it comes within 30 days or 45 days, but within 60 days we receive the license.
So tell me, in your experience, what are the most common challenges which nutraceutical companies face regarding license and compliance with regulations?
Yeah, one of the great biggest challenges we face, like we uploaded the license. We have suppose we have the 100 licenses, 100 product list, and we are introducing 10 more, 110. So whatever we did not receive the query, we don't receive the query from the 10 which we are going to uploading for the license for the endorsement. We received the query from the back one that was which was approved by the XX and the XX designee authority, and that becomes a challenge that moment, and till date there are so many changes in the regulation that is creating a problems, and then it becomes we involve ourselves in case of search the justification to upload that and to get it justify, and it will happen in a single go that it gets resolved, but it may be to and fro 2 3 times, and then again every queries have the 30 days along, so that there is a requirement to have a sound listening and a discussion. We will take the appointment with the your since it is comes in the central authority, regional central authority with the DOs, and go and discuss. And if it most of the times it gets resolved. Otherwise, you have to make in the changes in your formulation as per the requirement of the regulations.
Okay.
Yeah. Next.
So how can regulatory bodies and the nutraceutical industry work together to create a framework that fosters both innovation and consumer safety?
Yeah. Regulatory body as well as industry. We have a one nutraceutical regulatory task force, and there is a meeting, quarterly meeting, and from the regulatory side, some there may be either regional or the central, or sometimes even then the CEO attend those meetings, and whatever the presentation and whatever the issues are there, it is highlighted through them, and one by one it is every any kind of the supporting data details are required, it is submitted, and it is in the we represent not individual, representation goes through the industrial association to get it resolved.
What are your views on the issues of counterfeiting in the nutraceutical market?
Yeah, it is counterfeiting is the basically it has been imbibed in the bone of our culture, just like, maybe Dr. Lal was saying that the ginger was dipped in the calcium, and then it is what it is still permissible if it is dissolved in the calcium synthesis for the bleaching is allowed or calcium. But still, why have visited the some of our market in Delhi, APMC market, where they are washing ginger with using the commercial grade of hydrochloride. So that it, why they are doing this such kind of the things? Since we are promoting them, we require only the clean. If it is a dusty, and if it is a certain ginger has little dusty, if the seller has, yeah, food, agriculturist has, the farmer has a logo like it is organic, no, then definitely we will pay 10 rupees more per kg, and will procure, and will take the, it is organic, and will wash in our kitchen. And this is the reason. Similarly, it is happening in the nutraceuticals also. And it is basically who is promoting? Our consumer is promoting, we are promoting. If we are become the trend by we are taking a call, then definitely it will not happen. And FSI did a very significant activities in Baddi in June July 23. They seized one manufacturing locations having those just like a shutter, having a blender, and everything was becoming over there. And it was the what was the product being manufactured, that was the basically it was the sport nutritions. And it was what it was happening, it is being supplied nearby gym, and they were consuming, and there was a lot so because the consumers, whatever, if the consumer is not ready to procure that kind of activities. And apart of that, other reason which we find like why it is counterfeiting, I think definitely it is economical benefits required because of economical gains. And if it is, there are the some of the consumer lobby, we want to protein, want to take the protein 40 rupees of kg, what will get? Even then, if we find then what is the rate of the sugar, what is the rate of the maltodextrin, what is the rate of the other ingredients, and we are expecting 40-45 rupees of the containers. So it is, there are the so many industries, and they are enhancing their capacity, and they are enhancing the so there is need to definitely one of the, if I see one of the previous survey 2018, I think it was 20, yeah, 2018-19 SOCM, it was definitely as supplement there was a 60 to 70% protein case of the protein powder. So definitely we as a consumer must be aware, and we must not go just like like sasta hai ya free ka chahiye ya free one to one free. So then definitely, since it is a conscious, and basically the person who is in the gym, who is making the career in the sports, they must be conscious whatever they are consuming. Since because of the single anti-doping test, they can spoil their career holistically.
So, sir, do you see any significant changes or amendments that will be made in the current landscape for regulation?
Yes, sir, it is expected. But, and I have some, insight also. But being ethical person of nutraceutical task for CIA and FSSI, would refrain to disclose such kind of the, but in the forum. But it is expected. Might be possible some changes. Act are expected to get the review. So definitely it will. It is expected, and we are waiting for that. Industry is also waiting for that.
Okay.
And it is well known, and recently everybody has gone through the one of the judgment of Supreme Court to the FSSI to rewrite the act, unsafe act number 15, and then definitely that work will be in account of FSSI.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. So, to conclude, I'll just very quickly take the gist from the conversation is that one is consumer awareness, reaching out to the correct target group. The third is obviously good quality products, ensuring proper compliances, ensuring proper quality control. Potential is vast, but there's a lack of, I would say, the proper roadmap or how to increase the industry. So I think everybody should be coming together, working together, and such forums will help increase the knowledge, increase the interaction between people, and help the industry grow. Thank you so much, everybody.
really congratulate SOCM for this very specific, agenda to take it forward. However, just you talked about the, fortified food something. So I would encourage that food to food fortification, like where like vitamin A is there, that kind of food can be, supplemented where lack of vitamin A is there. So food to food fortification is very much encouraged today to really see the health of the people. And again, what kind of foods we are developing, that need to be really targeted. What kind of population you are making that kind of food. So in that way, you can actually have the much more focus and good product for the people. And of course, raw material, I think these all points were discussed. That is the biggest issue. Raw material itself, if we get the good quality, I think then active principles, pesticides, heavy metals, all can be reduced itself. And of course, I think this is a very good forum. I congratulate, and this kind of forum in future also can be had along with the government, industry, and research institutions. Is really very much a need of the hour to take it agenda forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That was a stimulating discussion.
I congratulate Dr. Devjani Roy. Morning itself, she has clarified with CEO FSSAI the issue what really industry was facing very much. So I congratulate really, Shabaxil taking very active role and helping the industry to facilitate their export. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for the distinguished panelists. Please come together for a group photograph. That was a stimulating discussion we just had. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Before you proceed for lunch, make sure you visit the Bears stall, which is towards the end of the hall, and experience their products for free, and then you may proceed for lunch. With this, we come to an end of the 9th Nutraceutical Summit and Awards. Thank you so much for your participation and support. Wish you a great day ahead.